Do you like passive aggressive?
Not a huge fan.
Is it? I almost said something offensible.
Offensible?
Is that what you normally say? Is offensible? Oh, respectable. I almost said something that may offend people, so I'll hold back and I won't say it. But I think that I'm not going to say it because it's equal opportunity across the board that sometimes people can be passive aggressive.
Usually you say you're not going to say it and you eventually say it.
But I'm not saying it because it's across the board.
Are you saying that now that you're not going to say it?
No, I'm not going to say it because it's across the board.
Yeah.
That people in general can be massively passive aggressive, which is the most annoying thing in the world.
It is.
Just because you say respectful 12 times in an email doesn't mean that it's going to make me want to be any more whatever you think I'm not being.
I don't think anyone has any idea of what you're talking about.
I have an idea of what I'm talking about, and that's all I give a shit about.
Okay.
Anyways, Steven.
It's off your chest.
Blinking light.
Blinking light.
We didn't...
Something new.
I was like, what is that blinking light? Actually, I didn't say what. I said, is that a scratch?
Wow, you can really see ourselves now.
Well, you can. I can't.
Oh, yeah. Well.
What are we talking? We're talking about, we got the Shogun hooked up today.
Yep.
It's the Atomos Shogun 4K possibilities, which we're not shooting in 4K right now.
No.
But it has a big-ass 7-inch screen, and we've switched to it since they sent it to us in a yellow box.
Yes.
And we're trying it out this week. And it has a blinking light on the front, so you know it's recording.
It's really nice.
Wait, does it still have? It still has the red bars around it,
It
right?
does. They're a lot thinner. The normal, like the Ninja 2 and the Blade, they both have a lot thicker red bars, so you know it's recording.
It also has a recording light on the back.
Does it really?
Yep.
So Sutter even knows it's recording. That's pretty nice.
Or it's just a blinking light saying, hey, you're an asshole. I'm just going to blink at you and you don't know why.
No, it has REC next to it, so definitely recording light.
That's
Rec?
nice.
Recording.
What is rec?
REC.
Rec Center?
Rec? Anyway, last week we were in, I didn't do an intro. Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. Welcome to Pissed Off Talk episode 126. It's not Pissed Off Talk. It's episode 126 of RAWtalk. Welcome.
Welcome. We're back at the table.
It's
been a while.
We're back at the table. Last week we were in Chicago.
Chi-town.
The Bears, the Bulls, the Blackhawks, and the Cubs. The Bear Cubs.
The Bear Cubs.
Well, that's stupid too. I could have come up with something better. That was I've heard. I saw a couple of comments on Facebook or YouTube about this, and it was like this I didn't like this RAWtalk. You don't give any information. Followed by, this was the best RAWtalk you've done yet.
Oh, it's always 50-50.
Right. So that was that. That was great. Chicago was awesome. I thought it was one of the coolest shows. Heidi texted me and was like, that was so funny. I didn't know Heidi listens to the podcast. Hi, Heidi, listening to the podcast. She must have been listening during shipping time in the basement.
I saw also that a couple people commented like, you guys should have a camera on whoever's talking.
people.
It's like, we literally do. It's just me and you. That's it. Every time we set up, it's really just me setting up everything. But we already do so much. I feel like to add another thing.
But wait, before when we were in Florida, it's like, yeah, why don't you guys use microphones?
And then we got
we did. The problem with the stick mic we had was it was being overpowered by the other frequencies.
They had so many frequencies going on in that place, man. I couldn't find one.
But nonetheless,
clean one.
we try to do it. We try to do our best, and I think it was perfect.
I think it sounded
GoPro
good.
angle looked like shit because it's a GoPro 3. We're ordering. I actually emailed Brandon at Allen's. They've got plenty of 4s there.
Well, even with a 4 though, I mean that was a lot of dynamic range.
Well, it's either you're going to get the crowd, or you're going to get us.
And I was trying to go for the crowd.
And I think that's better because what's the point of just seeing us on stage? It's about seeing the people.
Exactly.
You know, the people.
The people.
You people. you people in Chicagoland.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what that was about. And the week before that, we were sitting over there.
Yeah.
And somebody's like, I don't like the new setup.
And then someone said, I love the new setup.
But it's not even a new setup.
Yeah.
It was what it was.
But we'll be back here for a while, so that'll be good.
We are. Well, yeah, and we're recording one day earlier than normal because I have to leave on a jet plane today.
Yes.
6 o'clock, I'm flying to San Francisco.
Correct.
And then 10 o'clock tomorrow night, I'm flying home from San Francisco.
So you're only going to be there for
25 hours, depending on whether the flight today is delayed or not, because I don't like leaving at 6 o'clock from the airport generally.
Is that busy time?
It's just, generally speaking, the later you get in the day, and it's just
you never leave
things
late.
Get back to. But that was the only time they had flights.
Yeah, you always like the
it was
7
a last
a.m.
minute thing,
8 a.m. flights.
Well, because when you generally take that earlier flight out, you're not waiting for a plane to come in.
No, that's true.
Type of thing. So anyway, Facebook autocorrects images when you upload them from your iPhone.
They do,
unless you turn it off.
Yeah.
This is bullshit.
I'm
I
pretty
don't
sure
want.
we brought it up on Photo News like when it first happened.
And I'm pretty sure that I told it not to ever autocorrect my images.
But did you get a new phone since then?
No, I upgraded to iOS. Maybe they automatically turn it on for you.
I don't know.
Which is stupid.
Well,
so
they do. They do.
If you're using, I don't know if it's not, maybe it's not just the iPhone, but it does autocorrect. When you upload from the phone, it's autocorrecting your image. Because I uploaded the photo that I took landing in Philadelphia from the Southwest flight, and I tweaked it in Snapseed and edited it and then put it up the way I wanted it. And then I looked at it, I'm like, what the that doesn't look like the way I edited it.
Edited it?
Why are you autocorrecting my image?
Is the worst.
Stupid Facebook. Go
and then
away.
Would you delete it and then repost it?
Yeah,
or
I
something?
deleted it and reposted it because I didn't want that crap out there. Because the question was, is this a snapshot or a photograph? I thought it was a photograph and a snapshot, but it looked like crap. See, that's how important editing is.
Yeah.
And Facebook should not be editing stuff automatically.
Well, it's probably the normal type of automatic edits, like bring up your shadows, bring down your highlights, that kind of stuff.
Bullshit. Sutter, what are you doing?
I'm typing notes.
I'm just saying hi.
Oh, hi. How are you?
Wait, did you get Inspector
Don't
Dale
ask me.
Cooper?
Don't
an
ask me
Instagram
how I'm
account?
doing.
I did.
I gotta follow him. What is it?
But it only has
It's
one. It only has one picture.
Cooper the Hedgehog. I gotta
Say
get
it one
there.
more time.
Cooper the Hedgehog.
At Cooper the Hedgehog on Instagram.
Yes.
I wanted to follow, but I'm like, there's one picture here. I want to
It'll
see
get
more.
there. I
You
mean,
just made it like yesterday, right, or something?
2 days ago,
2 days ago.
something like that.
Yeah, I was like, no, I'm not following till you have more pictures. You should at least put up a video of.
I have a slow-mo video of him running through my front lawn. It's really funny.
You should put some epic music behind it.
Hey, do you know where you could get some music?
Where?
At audioblocks.com.
Wow.
But it's kind of true.
It is
It's
true.
funny because
That's where I would've gotten the
every time
music.
Todd is over, we're just like, Todd's trying to do something. It's like, oh, let's think of some music. And we're like, it's there. But anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. What did I want to do? We've got a new shirt to show,
We do.
which we're not going to do yet.
Which we're not going to show.
Yeah. Creed is filming outside on the street.
The band?
The band.
Yes, Scott Stapp.
101.
Can you take
The only one is one. No, the only way is one. I see thunder. I see pain. Yeah, no. I think that was Creed, right?
Yeah. With
then it was-
arms wide open.
And then my friend ruined that song because he's like, with legs wide open.
Yep, that was
I was
the
like,
big thing.
You suck. Anyway, so it's not Creed the band, it's Creed the movie,
Yes.
which is Sylvester Stallone's latest installment, episode number 8 of
Rocky. Number 37.
And the story behind this one is that Apollo Creed's son, Adonis, whose trailer is about 50 feet outside my door.
Yeah, I can spit on it from here.
Yeah. So that's Adonis. Adonis is Apollo Creed's son, and Apollo Creed is dead. I don't know how he died. Maybe did the Russian kill him? Oh, the Russian killed
yeah,
him.
I was going to say, the Russian
thing.
killed him, and then Rocky came back.
Oh,
remember?
man.
Was that Rocky 4?
Wait a second. He had a baby by then? That was 1970 something.
What I don't get is it should be his grandson, because the kid in the poster, at least, Adonis, looks like he's maybe in his 20s,
Well,
early 20s.
here's what actually happened.
And Apollo would have been like 70
Well,
something
yeah,
by now.
he would have been in his 60s.
Or 60s, yeah.
So unless he had a kid, no, Apollo would have been dead anyway. This is
That's
what
what I'm
happened.
saying. He would have been way older.
Right before he died,
Yeah.
they got some sperm, and they cryogenically froze it. And he's like, please take my sperm in case I need to have a baby. And
In
then
his will.
And yeah, it said. So they went in there.
Save the baby.
And then they had an Adonis. Anyway, so that's on the street. We are not allowed to park on my street for 4 days because the movie.
3 days.
Well, it was Monday night till Thursday morning.
3.5 days.
Basically, they don't tell you that you can't park on the street until 24 hours and 24 hours prior to it. They started hanging signs and passing out flyers saying, you're an asshole if you leave your car. We're going to tow it no matter what. Could you imagine if I was traveling?
And you are. But I mean, if you were actually traveling Monday or something.
But imagine there's a lot of people that travel
Yeah.
and they leave their car parked because you have a permit to do so on the street. They would tow it.
You'd come back and be like, someone
Where's
stole
my
my
car?
From what
Dude, where's
I
my car?
understood on the poster was they're just going to tow it to another street, not like impound it.
Yeah,
so
but-
you're not going to
but
pay
how
a
do you know
fine or
where your
anything.
car is?
That's the
You
thing.
just
Do
have
they-
to walk around the hood.
Do they leave a post? Do
Right,
they leave
like
some
do
kind
they
of
tell you
notice?
like no, but they and my one guy in the building said in his old place,
Yeah.
this happened, and they towed his car to a metered parking spot, and he was in Europe, and when he came back, it had tickets all over
like
it,
7-8 tickets.
and he had to pay them because nobody would do anything about it.
'Cause what,
I
they-
would never pay that. I would go to the freaking parking authority, and I'd be like, Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I was away. You gave zero freaking notice. And I'll be like, well, it's our discretion.
It's ridiculous.
Assholes.
Yeah, so now we have like one street to park on.
Well, I've
like
left my
50
car.
cars.
I haven't been driving because I just leave my car like that. Should we introduce the new shirt?
Yeah, let's do it.
Why don't we do this? We made a video, which some of you may have seen by now because it's out. But this, if you haven't seen it, here it is. This is the commercial. We'll call it commercial.
Yeah.
For the new shirt. Sutter, do you know what this is?
I do now.
This is it. This is the Doom 8-bit edition I Shoot Raw shirt.
That's awesome.
It is a great design. Jude Buffin on Facebook. He's a friend of mine who lives down the street. He does 8-bit art. He does like
Very cool.
awesome 8-bit art, and he works for some huge companies as a freelancer, and he does a great job. And I reached out to him like, let's do a shirt, and we were just throwing out different ideas, and I was like, what about Doom? Because I was like 8-bit first. Let's do a game. Let's figure out what to do, like Tetris or something like that. And then he's like, how about
Surprised
this?
you didn't do a Tetris shirt.
Well, it
that
may
makes
happen
more
at some
sense.
point.
Yeah.
But this was cool.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and the bottom of it, we had
First-person shooter.
Yeah, it's a first-person shooter. It is this is a D4S in the bottom corner. This is a 70-200 here with this lens. That's me. And if we had like 27% battery left, maybe I'd have blood and stuff coming out of my nose.
It looks just like you.
It does, but that's awesome. It is cool. And so basically we went with the 2.8.
No one can see what you're pointing at, by the way.
I know, I'm just showing you. You can put it up on the screen.
All right.
The 2.8 PSA&M and the manual selected, JPEG and RAW. The RAW is selected. I just thought it was a cool concept, and it turned out much better than I expected.
I love
it to.
the colors too. Why'd you choose those colors?
Just gold worked better.
Yeah.
And then the red for whatever, Doom, like blood.
Blood, yeah.
And I don't know, it just pops. And
Looks good.
I think people are either going to get it or not get it.
Yeah.
Because if you played Doom, you get it.
Oh yeah.
And if you never played Doom,
is it Wolfenstein came first or second?
Wolfenstein was first,
and then Doom.
and then
the first
Nukem.
person. Yeah, Duke Nukem. Then it just blew up. From
Duke
there.
Nukem was great.
That was great. That's what I played more of.
So we were sitting here. We filmed this yesterday.
Yes.
I wore a GoPro camera on my chest. Todd calls it a chesty.
Chesty.
And that's where the GoPro here 4. We did a GoPro 4.
Correct.
Why did I call it a Hero? Is it called a Hero?
I think it's called Hero 4, right?
Oh, they're called Heroes?
Yeah.
I forgot. For
I think so,
whatever
yeah.
purpose. But I put that on, and then Todd was behind me with the Wi-Fi on, monitoring it, and holding a light up so that when we went
Little
through the hallway,
LED light.
right, and it went through the hallway, and then he's like, did we look at music first or second?
Second.
So
We knew we'd find something. But
right after we filmed, I think, what did he type in? Video game music?
He just put video game.
So Todd went to audioblocks.com and he was like, video game. And this is seriously what we do every
Literally
time
what
we
we
need to
did,
make
yeah.
a video. And it's not just to plug them, but it also is to plug at this point. But when we need something, it's like audio. So he types in video game. So we've got that whole base underlying audio. Then you've got the bloop, 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 bloop stuff, and then whatever.
Which actually a lot of that was in the song he chose, but
Yeah.
there was a lot of that extra video game type, Super Mario
It just
Brothers
made it
stuff,
so
too.
much easier. And then he went to Video Blocks and found the stuff, all that other stuff. And I think he went to Graphic Stock to get that background.
I'm not sure which background.
The
actual,
green one. Yeah, the blue one that looks like Mario.
And then he pixelated it in in Final Cut, I believe.
Right. So we use this stuff.
Yeah.
So if you want to check it out, go to audioblocks.com/go/fro, videoblocks.com/go/fro, and Graphic Stock, which we haven't talked about too much, graphicstock.com/go/fro. All three of those. It's always .go. .com/go/fro for any of them. You can get your 7-day free trials from them. Try it out. It helps us, it helps you, and it helps them because like I said, we're going to interview the founder at some point.
Yeah.
I think they're in North Carolina, which means we're going to do a RAWtalk from their office.
Very cool.
Which will open it up to people in North North Carolina or whoever wants to drive from wherever they're at to come in and do the RAWtalk. But I love the founder's story.
Yeah.
Go read that on videoblocks.com. Read how the founder started. So check that stuff out, and that's it.
I mean, that video wouldn't have been possible without audio blocks or video blocks.
Well,
for what we wanted to
for what
do.
we wanted, where the
Yeah.
hell would we have found this stuff?
No, yeah.
It's like
We would have had to literally search up a million different websites to try and find licensed
8-bit
content,
audio,
free license. Yeah,
yeah, and for the $99 for the audio blocks, even like if you had all three for $300 for a year, just doing the video, like 1 or 2 videos helps.
Yeah.
And Todd's used it in the game show, whatever.
Yeah.
Enough of that. But that makes sense. I think I covered everything I need. Let's
I
get
think
to
so.
photo news. We've got Gear of the Week. We've got a bunch of Wheel of FRO spins, and then we have a long bit of Flying Solo.
Oh yeah, we got to catch up on Wheel of FRO. I forgot about
We
that.
do,
part.
and we've been talking a lot, but that's because we haven't sat around this table yet.
That's fine. So Flickr, they have photo news time, right?
Yes.
Flickr has a
Wait,
new...
were you interrupting yourself?
Yes, I
You
was.
just
For
interrupted
once I
yourself,
was.
Steven.
Because you didn't lead it in really for photo news.
I'm sorry.
Usually you're like, okay, photo news now.
Because what we haven't done is gone to audio blocks yet and found you music.
That's true. That's true.
Why don't you pick yourself some music today from audio blocks? Each week, find yourself some new theme to put up for your music news.
I can do like
Photo
dramatic
news.
music.
Find photo. All right, come. You ready? You ready? Boop, boop. Right now, it's time for photo news with Steven.
Woo, yeah!
And then you had like audio under it.
So Flickr has a new free Google Chrome extension that's called Flickr Tab. The new add-on shows you a popular photo from Flickr every time you open up a new blank tab. So as far as which images are chosen, Flickr says the extension uses a special algorithm to deliver the most interesting Flickr photographs straight to your browser.
It's actually an intern sitting in the back room at Flickr who's like, I like this photo.
Next. So it tells you the name of the image and who the photographer is that took it in the
cool.
bottom left-hand corner, which is great. Love that they credit them. Now, if you click on anywhere in the photo, it takes you directly to the photographer's image on Flickr, too.
That's horrible. I don't like it.
If you want to see more of their work. The only thing I don't like about it is that if the image is like too small resolution-wise, they do stretch it like for your monitor, and it's not very flattering. So if you don't have a full-res image on Flickr, I wouldn't recommend. Well, you're kind of screwed at this point.
Yeah.
If they choose your photo.
Well, see, I'm all for this.
Me too.
Don't get me wrong. Like
I
the
already
3
changed
sentences ago.
I already got my add-on.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. No, it's cool that they're featuring different photographers. That's great.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you need to have the Chrome extension, so I'm assuming that most people won't go get this Flickr Chrome extension.
It took me literally 2 seconds to
I'm just saying the
Click,
randos,
boom.
like
Yeah.
random people that
Yeah.
don't know, unless Chrome goes ahead and it's like, oh, we're just going to do this anyway.
Unless they hear about it on photo news.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And you can get all your photo news at FroKnowsPhoto.com/RAWtalk-126.
Yeah, and I'll post a link so you can actually get the add-on from RAWtalk-126.
Got it.
But it's great for daily inspiration.
And
I
just
was
wait till they
clicking
put
through it
ads
today.
up.
Yeah, right. The Impossible Project, they're launching Generation 2.0 film.
AKA 2.0, less crappy than 1.0.
The new film is promised to be better in sharpness, tonality, and much faster developing times altogether.
AKA our first batch really sucked.
The initial launch of the new film will be for the black and white 600 line. The company says it's an entirely new black and white formulation. The new formula was developed under
Wait, is that a time where I can say that's racist, or will I get people calling me a racist for saying that's racist?
You'll probably get the latter on that one. The new formula was developed under the supervision.
Actually, the latter's over there.
It was developed under the supervision of Polaroid's former chief technical officer, Stephen Hurchin, so they did actually get some advice from him. Now, Impossible claims that the new film won't just match the quality of Polaroid pictures in their prime, but will exceed them in processing speed and image quality. They're calling it the first truly instant film, in quotes, air quotes.
Sutter, what do you think about this?
Previously, Impossible Film has really, really let me down.
Oh, yeah, me too.
So I'm going
Wait
to
a
have
second.
high hopes
What-
for this one.
Wait, what
Me
did it
too.
do?
It let me down.
No, but what did you say before that?
It really let me down?
No, how many reelies was that?
Was there a lot of reelies? I wasn't even paying
I really, really,
Oh,
really,
my
really like you. It's true. Carly Rae Jepsen.
Sutter, have you heard that song yet?
No, and I kind of
Oh,
don't want
God.
to. I feel
Yeah,
like.
you're gonna hear it right. You're not gonna hear it now because I'll get like in trouble. But it's a really good song about holding hands and somebody really, 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 really likes you, and then they want to like. I think she wants to have sex with somebody.
Oh, okay.
But it's subliminally she's saying, Jared, I want to have sex with you, and she's like, I really, really, really like you.
So I have high hopes for this round of film. I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt.
Me
first
too.
run.
Yeah.
Not the greatest thing.
First
but
run
hopefully-
4 years ago.
Well, my question is, will they do the same for color? Right now, they're just on the black and white line, so hopefully... It's not racist, Jared. So... let me keep going on with this. Images will begin to show up on the film within 20 seconds of being exposed, which is great compared to what they
Half
have now.
the time.
Literally, when I have the color film that we use now, my girlfriend's Polaroid that I bought her, the SX70.
What do you guys shoot?
SX70?
No, what do you shoot Polaroids of?
We just shoot some pictures, I mean,
because that was only the way to do a dick pic back in the day was
And mail
Polaroid.
it.
Well, none of that, I assure you
Why
of
do you
that.
think Polaroid... I have a camera over there called the Swinger.
Ooh.
It's from the 70s.
There you go.
Polaroid had a camera called the Swinger.
Very nice.
What do you think it was for?
I don't know.
Swinger.
Maybe swinging on swings, right?
Whee!
But no, but anyway, going back to that story, every time we would take a picture, we had the color film. It took like an entire day to fully
It was like
process.
45 minutes, I think.
Well,
is
I
what
still
they
have
5
the-
minutes
say.
to roughly process, but to really fully develop, like the entire day. It was bad.
I still have the film in the fridge.
Yeah.
We're gonna do the 5-minute portrait. I'm gonna borrow your girlfriend's camera.
Yeah.
And go from there because I still haven't sent mine into Leora.
Now the black and white, apparently it's supposed to only take like 5 to 10 minutes to process. So I haven't actually used that yet. And Sutter, have you used it?
I have used it, and I have a
Is that
pack at home.
much quicker than
It's
the
way
color?
faster than the
Yeah.
color.
So I'm just gonna get the color from now on, and
You mean black and white?
black and white. That's what I meant. But Generation 2.0 film for the black and white 600 line, it's already available in the Impossible Project Online store, so you can get it today. And Generation 2.0 versions of the SX70 and Spectra editions will be arriving in May. So that's when I'm going to get that film. Now, it still looks to be the same price, too. It's around like $23, something
AKA
like that.
overpriced.
Very
For 8
overpriced. I think I
shots.
spent like $65 on like 3 packs for what? 24 pictures?
Yep.
Wow. Anyway, moving forward, you can now share your proposal with a first-person view from the ring and
Wait,
box
like-
itself.
Like, here's a proposal for you. I really, really like you.
No, like an actual wedding proposal.
Oh.
Now, Ring Cam, it's an engagement box that has a built-in camera for filming proposal reactions.
I came up with something new.
What?
It's a ring cam, but except for consummation of your wedding.
I was
night.
waiting for that.
I knew that was coming. Hey.
Oh, whoa, Sutter.
Now, the camera itself is pretty easy to operate. A button on the top of the box starts and stops the video. A USB port on the side of the box is used for charging the camera and transferring the video files to your computer. Very similar functionality to like the GoPro. Now, you can't buy it. You can only rent it, which is what I don't really get. You can rent it for 3 weeks for $99 from the Ring Cam website. You can also pay $199 for the proposal package, which basically makes like a slideshow of pictures and music for you, and they edit the video.
I wonder
for you.
where they get their audio from.
That's a good question. And you could pay $1,500 if you'd like to have the video edited and a photographer too, which will take photos before, during, and after the proposal. Apparently that's coming soon, it says on the website, so it's not available just yet. But yeah, if you want a photographer built-in package.
No, thank you. I don't want you to send your push-a-button
is it gonna
guy.
Be, is it going to be like random guys?
Right.
Just have a team of like 20 photographers?
It's like a guy
Unless they
named-
have people in each area.
yeah,
that they
they're just going to
designate
like
to that.
commission you to go out and shoot for the
like
day?
a guy named Stu. Probably with a guy
man.
named Stu is going to show
Probably.
up with a beard,
Inside joke.
with a beard and hair and
And
like
hair.
and
Oh,
like
no.
7 cameras around him or her.
Oh man, loves his Dutch angles too. There's a compilation video though showing 10 proposals captured by the Ring Cam. It's over on the website for you guys to
It's
check
really
out.
a good way to get an upskirt, is what I've seen, because the guy's on his knee.
Well, the camera is pointed up though. When the box opens, it's like on the top, so it's supposed to get just the girl's reaction in the face.
And my favorite is when they're backlit. It's like, it should come with instructions. Please do this in a front lit area.
Yeah, right.
Don't do this if it's extremely backlit, because you won't see the girl cheer or say no and
It's
punch
just
you in the face.
Just a giant silhouette of her face.
But were the videos interesting?
Yeah,
Did
I
you
liked
watch
it.
them?
They were all right. I mean,
liked
it
it.
literally looked like a GoPro just strapped to like the ring or to something like that. I think I would personally just do that. And
Just
not
rent the thing, not
for
the
$99.
giant package.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I looked to buy one personally.
Well, that
just
too.
because I thought it would be cool to have here.
Yeah.
And it would be a stupid video that I don't think I would do, walking around proposing to people. Because I hate those videos, randomly going around and doing shit, but you know.
And it seems to be the same. They say it's like Ultra HD, all that kind of stuff. It doesn't give me the actual resolution that I could find.
Can we drop this ultra stuff? Because anytime you try to tell you, just say it's good quality.
Well, to me, Ultra HD is like 4K or 8K or something like that.
Ultra HD. Yeah, Ultra
Ultra
HD. I think
HD.
they're calling that 4K.
Isn't that 4K?
Something in those Samsung TVs.
But it is about the same quality as like a GoPro, maybe a lower end GoPro, but so it's not terrible. But it's still
What
not
do you
great.
mean by GoPro?
GoPro professional?
My friend has the original GoPro. That's the film wrist cam.
Really?
Yeah,
Aren't they
yeah.
like rare?
I don't know how rare they are. But
Aren't they the ones that he sold out of like his van or
I
something?
don't know if
like
he
that?
had. I think it was like the first like commercially
Commercial
produced
version
film.
of it.
It was
Gotcha.
35 millimeter though.
Because what was it? The GoPro Hero 2 that actually started to come in the same.
No,
version
the
that it is
original
now?
Hero
Or was
was
that-
the first like HD video
Gotcha.
one.
Okay.
Before that, it was only photos or like low quality video.
Interesting. So we got scientists. They've developed a new telescopic contact lens and glasses that can give your eyes 2.8 times zoom by simply winking your eye.
What?
Are you winking at me? No, I'm zooming in on your breasts.
The current prototype was designed by researchers in Switzerland at EPFL. The 2.8 zoom is
Epful.
Epfel. The 2.8 times zoom is achieved by using a thin reflective telescope embedded into the 1.5 millimeter thick lens. Now, small mirrors bounce light around, magnifying the view. The scientists have also created a pair of glasses that, when worn with the contacts, allow for variable focal length vision. This is done by using special light polarizing technology. Now we just need contacts that give your eyes like VR or IS or something like that.
I always thought it'd be cool if they took like the Google Glass technology and put it into contacts.
Oh, God.
So you could just like take
Wink
photos
to record.
and
I'm sure that's coming.
that's
Yeah.
There's people probably already working on that.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's yes.
I just wonder if this will actually become reality. Probably not. A photography class at the Rochester Institute of Technology created the world's first pinhole photo done with a drone.
Do you know how much it is to go to RIT for photography?
Is it expensive?
It's probably about 50 grand.
Is it really?
A year.
Wow.
And it's a 3-year course, I
They
believe.
should go to the South Harmon Institute of Technology. Shit. Accepted? Nothing?
Oh, I liked
Ask me a
Accepted.
question about my winner.
Ask me about my wiener.
Accepted is a good movie.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
Justin Long's hilarious. He hasn't really been in much since then, I feel like. Well,
Excuse
he
me,
has, but
Monrovers. I have Monrovers. This is my boyfriend Bobby Long.
that was when Jonah Hill was still like really big, and he was probably that was like his first movie, I think,
I
or
don't
maybe
know what his
second
first
movie.
was, but that was a good movie.
Yeah, the aerial photography and videography class, which is that like a drone class that they have? Well, anyway, that class used a DJI Phantom and a do-it-yourself pinhole camera that the copter's gimbal came in. They used this box because the dimensions match 4x5 film perfectly, apparently. The class then created a remote-controlled shutter mechanism using a port cover from the GoPro and an RC servo for opening and closing the shutter. They then mounted it to the drone with good old gaff tape and pretty much took off with it. They posted a behind-the-scenes video of the entire thing online and how they made it. They also put up the final image, which is, of course, blurry. But it's a funny, cool concept, but not realistic at all. What do you think about this, Jared? You love it. As you sit there shaking your head.
He's in awe. He can't even find the words.
What do they always say?
What?
If you got nothing good to say,
Don't say it
probably
at all.
say it anyway.
On the topic of aerial photographs, SpaceX is now posting photos into the public domain following NASA's footsteps. They launched an official Flickr account and already uploaded more than 100 images. They initially put them under a Creative Commons license. They used allowing the public to use them for non-commercial purposes as long as they attribute SpaceX. However, they say they switched it to full public domain, but it is still listed as the attribution CC license. The photos included liftoffs, behind-the-scenes images, staff photos, in-flight photos, much more. I still don't think it's up to par with NASA's photography.
Ground control to Major Tom 10.
I haven't heard this one in
Ground
a while.
control to Major 9. Check ignitions and let the something. This is ground control to This is Major Tom to ground control. I'm stepping through the door, and my spacesuit is filling up with urine because my diaper has failed. This is Major Tom to ground control. I'm losing all my faith.
You done?
That's
I know what it is. You've sang it a million times.
Major Tom to ground control.
Oh, yeah. Great song.
David Bowie.
Classic. Instagram announced the new Layout app, simply called Layout. They're very generic with their app naming, by the way.
This
Hyperlapse.
coming
Layout.
soon. Layout by Instagram. It's like derelict.
The new app is similar to PicStitch and every other Layout app, which lets you combine multiple photos into a single image. It has standard layouts, which you can customize. The simplistic design lets users change the size of each photo, flip and mirror, or replace them. To arrange the images, you can drag them around and pinch to zoom, all that kind of stuff. There's a faces feature also that helps you filter images by ones that contain faces when you're scrolling through your camera roll. A photo booth option is also built in to help with a countdown and hands-free shot.
10. This is ground control to me. 9.
Oh, God. The only thing I noticed it doesn't have that most other apps have is borders.
Well, yeah, because it doesn't let
It doesn't
you
do
a
like the
full-
white border.
Yeah.
Or
They
anything.
maintain the square.
Yeah, they love the square. Now, it's currently available for iOS as a free download from the App Store, but an Android version is currently being developed for you, Sutter. Woo. And it will be available in the next few months, according to Instagram.
See, it's it's okay that they do that because they already have the hundreds of millions of users.
Oh, yeah.
So they get instant traction, like instant karma. They get instant traction, which blows the other ones out of the water.
Yep. So lighting gear legend Paul C. Buff passed away this past week at the age of 78. He founded Paul C. Buff Inc. back in 1980, which led to his various contributions to photography, including white lightning, alien bees, Einstein flash units, the CyberSync radio remote system, and the Vagabond power system. In the statement from his company, they touched on his goal to help photographers. His premise was that the equipment of the day was reserved for very few who could afford it, and that the state of the art was industrial dinosaur technology, inefficient and inaccurate, and packaged in gigantic black steel boxes and sold at way inflated prices. They added, he reasoned that hundreds of thousands of photographers would welcome a practical and affordable studio flash and the many advantages it offered over the ubiquitous camera-mounted speedlight. The world has lost one of its most creative and adventurous pioneers. Now, fun fact, Buff had originally started out in the music industry as a recording studio owner, which I didn't know, and shortly after, a maker of professional audio equipment. But rest in peace, sir.
Yeah,
He did a lot for the photography community.
I had a bunch of Ultra Zaps.
Did you?
Which were white lightning Ultra Zaps. And then I have 2 left. I have 2 1600 Ultra Zaps. I didn't get the 30. Are they 16 or 30? I don't think I would have bought the 3200s. They were really expensive. And then that was a model before they put a fan in them. Then they put a fan in them. Then he came out with the Einsteins. Einsteins are awesome. Adam has a pair or a couple of Einsteins.
Yeah.
You have 2 of them?
You have
Yeah.
alien bees, don't you?
I just have 2 Einsteins.
Oh, I thought
The
you had
alien bees are
bees.
more of the student version.
Yeah.
Come in different colors like pink and yellow and blue and
Ooh.
white.
Purple?
Nope.
There is a purple. They came out with the purple.
They added purple?
Yep.
Uh-oh.
It's just they're not the light wasn't
eyes
as
just lit up.
consistent on those.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that's great about the Einsteins is they have 2 different modes. You can put it in a sports mode for the fastest flash duration.
Do you know
or
what that
they're-
is with that? The fastest flash duration?
I think it's 1/10,000th.
Wow. That's fast.
I forget if it's on the high or low end. I don't remember exactly. But then there's a color correction one. So it'll always have consistent, perfect color.
That's what's nice.
I forget exactly what Kelvin mark they put it
I
at.
should just
but
get some Einsteins.
They're
Yeah.
really great. And the CyberSync system's really, really nice.
That's what I've heard. I've
The
never used
Cyber
them, but
Commander
I've
gives
heard-
you full control from camera
That's
of
great.
everything, every mode. Like you can turn them on and off from your camera, and power changes. You can change the modeling light, everything.
That's great. Yeah, I'm not a studio shooter, so I've never really gotten into that stuff. I'm more of speed lights and that kind of stuff. An investigation in the UK has found that a military airliner took a 4,400-foot nosedive last year after the pilot's DSLR got stuck next to the plane's joystick. Military Aviation Authority, MAA, released a report on the February 9th
Is that
incident last year.
MAHH?
MAA.
Oh.
Released a report on the February 9th incident last year that involved a RAF Airbus A330
Oh,
transport jet.
A330.
It's a big one, carrying 198 people. The investigators concluded that on the way to Afghanistan, the captain had shot a total of 77 photos of the flight deck from his seat.
Oh, wait. That reminds me of the song on the way to Cape May. I fell in love with you.
Who sings that?
It's old.
I've
I
heard
don't
it a
know
million
Well,
times.
that's
I
because
just-
we're in you're in Jersey,
Yeah.
so of course you heard it. But that
Yeah.
reminds me, on the way to Afghanistan.
Doesn't work as well.
No, it doesn't work as well.
I don't think so just 3 minutes after taking a picture, he moved his seat forward, causing the Nikon camera to fall into the space between his armrest and joystick and become wedged. There's actually like an animation of this on the website that I posted. Now, the plane then nosedived for 27 seconds, causing injury. 27 seconds? That's a long time.
That's a long time.
Causing injuries to 33 passengers and crew. The report concludes that the case was a near miss that had realistic potential for the loss of the aircraft and 198 of our people. Scary stuff.
What do you mean, your people?
That's what they put in quotes. That was
Our
from
people?
That was from the statement.
Our people.
Oh my God.
No, I've had this happen on a plane once.
Nosedived?
It was like a 5-second thing.
Oh my God. That's.
It was a
man,
Delta
scary.
flight, and I don't like flying Delta because they're flying a lot of old planes. It was a Boeing 757, an older plane.
Are they bigger
Older.
or smaller?
757 is a long plane.
Gotcha.
There was one, but it was an older plane. And I walk on the plane, and I'm like, how old is this plane? Because I usually look to see what number it is, like Boeing 737 700 series is
And
a new one.
I find myself looking now ever since you pointed it out the one time.
Yeah, so if you see like 737 300 series, they're older.
Yeah.
Anytime you see like older planes, and I was just like, they're like, yeah, we don't like this plane. And then sometimes during the flight, just out of nowhere, I think it was actually, we didn't die. I think we climbed. It was one of these. No,
was
we had to
sudden,
dive
though.
back down. I think what happened was there was like an air pocket of some sort that forced us up. And then this is what the pilot said after the flight. And then we went down. And I was just sitting there, I'm like,
Oh my
fuck.
God. It's like a roller coaster.
No, it was like, oh shit, we're going down.
Sutter, is a nosedive considered literally straight down, or is it just going in a downward direction?
I guess that's up for interpretation.
Yeah.
But
I
from what
forgot to
I always
meerkat this.
understood is it's just
Oh,
an
yeah.
unsafe, decline in
Okay.
altitude.
Gotcha.
Like
Just a sudden
too
movement, I guess.
fast, I guess. Because nosedive, in my head, would almost seem straight
Like
up and down.
straight down,
but I don't
losing control
There's
kind of
no
thing.
way a commercial plane
Yeah.
could do that and recover.
27 seconds. I feel like that you can almost hit the ground depending on,
No,
I don't know.
It free fall is, it'd be like, depending on if there are 30,000 feet, you fly at you fall. You can't fall. Well, I guess you could fall faster than the speed of free fall because you have jets pushing you down.
That's what I'm saying.
right.
Yeah.
Because you're flying 500 miles an hour, right? Something like that.
Yeah, terminal velocity.
Very fast.
Terminal velocity, yeah, it's
Is-
as fast as something can fall
On
with
its own.
the air pushing itself.
You're so excited.
Because at one point you're gonna hit like an equilibrium where you're just gonna feel, I guess the best feeling is you're falling the same speed, air's pushing back at you, so you're not gonna speed up or slow down. So it's just like you kind of equal out.
What I want to see is Inspector Del Cooper jump out of a plane.
have a
would
little
be kinda great.
napkin parachute.
Leanne's been skydiving. I got to get out there one day.
Dude, skydiving is awesome.
You've been?
Hell yeah.
Oh, cool.
Jared's been too. Well, this next story, it's ridiculous, but I wanted to bring it up. Cat lovers, you can now turn your furry friend into a photographer with the Catstacam. The device is a wearable collar camera that actually automatically posts photographs to Instagram that you set up for your cat, an actual account. Now, the camera collar is being developed by Whiskas, which is currently known for selling like cat food. I guess it's a cat food brand.
Maybe this is just a
seems pretty
marketing
real.
ploy.
The camera automatically takes 6 photographs every minute and shares them on Instagram when the device comes with.
Wait, how many is that? How many is that a second?
Every 10 seconds?
Thank you, Senator.
You're welcome.
When the device comes within range of a Wi-Fi network, the camera itself is activated by the cat's motion. Better yet, the device comes in a special package that doubles as a toy for your cat. The packaging basically turns into like one of those yarn ball toys.
Here's a toy for a cat. Let me crumple up some paper.
Here's a laser.
I mean, because that's what the cats play with is freaking paper.
Anything, really. There's sample Instagram posts captured by tester cats with prototype cameras over on the website, and they're all just, terrible snapshots as expected. It's a cat. There's also a promo video from the company that I posted there as well. No word just yet when it will be released. It's currently being tested by cats owned by celebrities, they say. So, marketing ploy, maybe, but We'll see if this actually comes to light. Photojournalist Peter Menzel is suing website Elite Daily for using his photos in a blog without permission. The BuzzFeed-like article was posted back in April of 2014 and was titled, "See the Incredible Differences in the Daily Food Intake of People Around the World." It included 30 photos taken from Menzel's photo book, What I Eat Around the World in 80 Diets, which features 80 portraits and profiles of people and their meals from 30 countries around the world. Menzel accuses the blog of not only publishing his photos without permission, but also cropping a copyright notice from the lead image and stating that the photos were courtesy of Menzel, even though he didn't give them any consent. At the bottom of the post, all photos courtesy of Peter Menzel. Now, Menzel says, as a freelance photojournalist that self-funds his own hugely expensive multi-year global projects, my team chooses those projects carefully, copyrights the images and text, and then works very hard after publication to recoup the considerable expense. One of the chief ways we do this is to license the images and writings for print and web. We charge a licensing fee for featured stories and large portfolios, whether in print or online. Use of our copyrighted intellectual property without permission guts the value of our work, greatly diminishing our ability to finance our project debts and endangers our ability to undertake future projects. Now, as a side note, even the homepage of Menzel's website contains a giant copyright notice that states, as you browse through, please remember that none of these photographs are within the public domain. They are protected under domestic and international copyright laws and cannot be used without permission. Now, the site has money, too. It was acquired by UK-based Daily Mail earlier this year for a reported $47 million.
Pounds?
$47 million. It says. No, it's Elite Daily. I guess that was an American website, maybe.
So what's the outcome here?
He's just filed a lawsuit.
He should.
There's no outcome yet.
I mean, if the guy has copyright notices all over the place,
he's totally going to win this. I mean,
well,
he's got everything.
And
yeah, he should.
It's just like because and you can't say
it's a total BuzzFeed article. That's pretty. And what it is.
You can't just say courtesy of somebody if they didn't give you permission.
Yep.
That's all I got, Steven.
Well, we got one more story for Photo News this week. A new online depth of field and bokeh simulator by Polish photographer and programmer Michael Bimowski helps you understand the concept of depth of field and effect on background blur with interactive visuals. Now, the site features an interactive calculator, which you put all your shot info in, like f-stop, focal length, distance, if it's like a headshot, full body, etc. Now, as you tweak your shot settings, the animated sample photo illustration on the right side of the page will update in real time to show you how the shot will change as a result. Since the app doesn't need to communicate with any server, there's an offline version available as well for you to take on location. However, if you are on location on like a photo shoot, you probably shouldn't need something like this. You should know what you're doing.
Or just take a picture and look at the
Or
back
just
of your
take a
screen.
picture and look at it, exactly. The service is currently free to use. And that is it for this week's Photo News, Jared.
Got it, Steven. How did the music sound for it?
I hope it sounded good.
I hope it sounded
I
good.
haven't selected it yet. I mean, I did select it. Sounds great.
What are you going to search?
I have no idea.
News music?
Probably something really cheesy.
Just find something.
Weird and awkward.
Whatever works.
It might even be just dramatic music that doesn't even fit.
That's fine, too. Dramatic music by Stephen Eckert.
Yes.
Is it time for Flying Solo?
I think it is.
Because we finished... Lick my pen.
Let me lick my ink pen.
I actually didn't have it open at the time. Cross Photo News out. We talked about that. We did the new shirt. We talked about that. We did that. And we're going to do that later and that later.
Oh,
and by that later, and I haven't Snapchatted because I don't feel like it right now, and I haven't Meerkatted because I'm waiting I'm waiting for the phone call and I don't want to miss it.
Is this because of that happiness photo news story I talked about last week?
What's that?
The trophy hunters?
No. It wasn't that. It was just I didn't think about.
Did you see the music
Meerkat.
I put in there?
No,
It was
I didn't
very
watch
sad,
our own show.
dramatic music.
You put music in the show?
Well, in that part, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Because
What's
I
that?
said cue sad music.
I was listening to NPR and they had a story
Welcome
about
to NPR. Hi.
how Twitter bought a live streaming
Periscope.
Periscope.
Yep.
And that's going to launch soon. So they're going to take all of the sort of amenities that they gave to Meerkat away. And
Well, they
gave it
already
to
took
their-
away.
They already took it away.
Meerkat already has 400,000, if not more, users at this point in a matter of a month.
Yeah.
And they just got 12 million in fund or 14
Wow, it's only
million
been
in
a
funding
month since they
it's
launched.
They launched
under a
it at
month.
South by Southwest.
No, they launched before South by Southwest
Oh, well.
because they launched at South by Southwest. It was only in launch for like 14 days, and it already had 300,000 people on it.
Well, we noticed that Jimmy Fallon's been on it like every day.
Jimmy Fallon,
doing
Questlove,
rehearsals.
they're doing a lot of behind the scenes stuff. Like I said, I've used
Now
it.
I wonder
to,
if they're getting paid to do that.
No,
No?
they're not getting
You think
paid
he's
to
just doing it?
Absolutely. Yeah. Because it's a way to interact and give people a look behind the scenes. It's
great.
good for that. It's going to evolve. Being so new, they need to have time to be able to change. They added the search button once Twitter took away their ability to enter the search graph or
Yes.
the social graph, so they couldn't automatically add people. Whatever. That is what it is. But it's they're going to change. It's going to evolve. It's going to evolve. That's just going to be hopefully an open platform that anybody could look at online, and hopefully we can rotate our cameras and have other
Yes.
shit rotate so people aren't bitching. Like, look, if I'm shooting, I don't want to shoot vertical. If I'm editing at the computer and showing you guys me editing photos, I don't want to do it vertically. And so people are like, it's sideways. Well, guess what? Lock your phone and turn it, and then you can see it perfectly fine. But on the computer, you can't. It when you go horizontally,
It automatically does it.
Yeah, it crops it a certain way.
Gotcha.
So, photo news.
That's it.
I meant.
I just did it.
I meant flying solo.
Flying solo?
It's time for flying solo, where I put out questions on Facebook. Put out a video saying, "Hey, let's get some questions in there." Valerie, I love that song. Valerie Taylor Wagner, 3 names again. Hi there, Jared. I was at a photo seminar this week, and the instructor said that anyone using a Nikon camera shooting in RAW should be editing in Capture NX-D versus Lightroom. I would love your perspective on that. Thanks! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Exclamation point!
Thanks.
The Nikon freaking software is a joke.
Yeah, and the Canon too.
And the I think Canon's is better than Nikon's because it
I forget what Canon's is called. I used it like once.
DPP.
Yeah, that's it.
It lets you actually edit stuff, whereas Nikon's is really hard to figure out how to edit and organize in anything. So for anybody to tell you that you should be using that software, I highly suggest you use Lightroom over that. And somebody did leave a comment under this saying that Nikon had a different. They love the old the old software that Nikon had because you had this pinpointing stuff where you could do stuff. But when Google bought a company, they took out the rights for them to do that. So the software sucks. The Nikon software is a joke. That's why it took me so long to edit the D5500 stuff, because I used the Nikon software and I'm like, I can't even figure out how to make changes because I don't see any sliders. And if it's that freaking hard to find sliders, I'm not wasting my time.
And you can't even save them as any real format, can you?
Well, I'm sure you can, but I didn't understand it. Were you raising your hand?
No, I was fixing my hat.
Oh, okay. But that's it. That's it. Jessica Sumarella Arnold, 3 names. What is with all these people with 3 names? And by you people, I mean you 3 named people. Arnold. I'm a noob photographer. Just started with my first camera, T3i, 2 Christmases ago. Well, you're not that new if you've had that for 2 years.
I was going to say, yeah.
I recently made my first, quote-unquote, real investment in lenses versus in a new body. A Sigma 50 Art and just a 24 millimeter. Okay.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, the 50 is solid.
Yeah, nice lenses.
I think I must have deleted the rest of the question. But if I'm going to call it from...
Excellent question.
So... Oh, no.
Just kidding.
No, it's over here. I copied somebody above her. My question is that in critiquing my images, I find that the sharpness isn't what I'd like to see. Editing photos of a wedding I did, they're just not asterisk crisp asterisk instead of parentheses.
Crisp.
Although the focus, lighting, and settings were the best they could be for the time of day.
The best.
Is it normal for images not to be super crisp in full-length portraits? Well, that I don't understand. So here's the thing. You say that your settings were right for that time of day. Well, you don't know that. I mean, your settings can be right if you have a 1.4, an art lens. I believe that would be a 51.4, right?
I think that's what they have.
So if you have a 51.4 and you're shooting at 1.4 and all your settings are right, doesn't mean that that's the right setting to shoot at. I don't know for sure what they're talking about because they didn't send sample images or what their settings were, but this is what I will say. Just because you have a 1.4 doesn't mean you should shoot at 1.4. I've said this before. 1.4 is so shallow. Go on that guy's website and look at his depth
There you
calculator.
go.
Not on a crop sensor. That'll make it more like a 2.8 if you want to get super
I don't
technical.
get techno. That's bullshit.
That's not.
Well, it
That
also-
is that is bullshit.
It's a sensor size.
Stop
versus-
worrying about that shit. Seriously.
It also depends on distance too.
There's a lot, but I don't. People that shoot DX, it like they start getting confused by people like, well, it actually acts as a 2.8. It's not really a 1.4. I don't worry
I'm
about
giving
it,
it in
Sutter.
your terms, so you know what their 1.4 is.
I don't
your
believe
2.8.
that. I still don't believe that.
I could show it to you.
I don't believe it.
Okay.
But shooting at 1.4, you're getting such a narrow depth of field, shallow, whether it's on a crop sensor or whether it's on a full frame. And yes, Sutter, on the full frame, you're going to see a more pronounced 1.4 than on that thing. But don't worry about that. Just shooting wide open is very hard to get focus. If you miss your focus, you may get crispness on the cheek, but not everywhere else. And it's like this. Even at 2.8, you're still running into that issue sometimes. But when you say in a full-length portrait, people are going to give me shit. When you had and I wasn't yelling at Sutter, I'm yelling at the overall bullshit that people get into super technical aspects of worrying about things that you shouldn't worry about when you're shooting. That's just being anal, like over anal, like double anal. So full length portraits. If you're looking in there at the double length portrait. If
This again.
I didn't mean that. That just if you're zooming in on a portrait that's a full length and you're saying that it's not crisp, it's possible that it really is, but you're just zooming in 1:1. I had this thing with the D5500. I'm like, oh, is it sharp? I'm like, well, it is almost a full body, and you're zooming in, and it's like, well, yeah, it's going to be sharp, but when you zoom in super duper duper, it's not going to be the most tack sharp thing in the world. You can still see the sharpness, but it's not going to be you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying. Anyway, that's my answer.
You're good. I was just trying to put things in everyone's ball field.
It just gives people
Yeah, I know
too
what you
many
mean.
things to worry about. Instead, just go out and shoot.
Oh, I never worried about it
I just
until I
think-
jumped full frame.
I just think a lot of things that people do is that they get that 1.8, they get that 1.4, and they think that they have to shoot, well, I got 1.4, I might as well shoot wide open. And then they wonder why things aren't sharp, and that's part of the issue.
I mean, I rarely shoot at 1.2.
And
with
you have
my
1.2,
50.
yeah.
Rarely, unless I'm literally. I don't know. It depends what effect I'm looking for, and it depends on the lighting. It depends on everything. But if I'm shooting a portrait, I'm shooting f8 or higher. You know.
Shooting a portrait at anything, really,
Yeah.
is it's all right. Next question. Paul Chapman, one name, two names. Now that you have done Snapchat for a few weeks, what are your views on it as a marketing tool? P.S. Did the girl pick you up after RAWtalk in Chicago?
Did she?
Yeah, I let her pick me up.
Because I didn't see that. But I was on the other side
There's a
cleaning
picture.
up.
Well, you were talking. You had fans.
I was trying to clean up at the same time and like trying to also talk to everyone, but
Yeah.
it's not very easy to do
No,
that.
you're popular,
But I
man.
didn't want to like be like I can't talk right now. I'm cleaning up. You
You're
know.
popular. You're head
not a
of the
surf?
class. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like
It's a
that.
good jam.
So yeah, Snapchat. I do Snapchat some things. I don't know if you guys actually like it or not because there's no feedback meter, but you can see that people watch it. You can say on Twitter or whatever if you or leave in the comments, do you enjoy the Snapchats? I'm sure the behind the scenes Snapchats of what we did at the whole week. What? You're smiling. Like,
shaking
are
my
you
head, and
happy?
smiling. No, I'm just thinking of like yesterday when we recorded the Doom video, the promo video, I guess you should say. You were recording like behind the scenes of that, and I have the afro on, like a super tight shirt. I'm pretty much you.
No, man, you're not me. You just had a tight shirt on. That doesn't make you me.
With an afro.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I'm looking like you.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking like if you watch Snapchat, you can see all those behind the scenes, and I was just laughing about that.
So that's what I use Snapchat for, just randomly showing things, and they disappear in 24 hours. I wish they just stayed so people could look at the archive, and I really do wish that stories lived on.
Yeah, I kind of like that it's 24 hours, but
that as a marketing thing, it can work if you're. It's just engagement. It's more engagement, and then maybe if you want to promote something, you can do that. All right, Ben Salvage. Sorry, Ben
Savage, I was gonna
no,
say.
not that
Boy
Ben
Meets World?
Savage, and then not his brother either.
yeah.
Ben Salvage. When approaching a shoot and using manual, is there an order at which to adjust each setting? Aperture first, ISO, shutter speed. Would you always adjust one before the other? Cheers. It all depends on what you're shooting, and I've said this before. When I'm shooting with that D5500 and a kit lens, the 18-140, I know that the aperture, even in manual, is going to automatically change as I zoom in. So in order to compensate for that, I'm riding the easiest thing that I can ride, which is the shutter speed, because there is no front dial for aperture, and to change it. So the quickest and easiest thing for me to change without looking at the camera is shutter speed. So that's why I set my ISO in some of those photos with the D5500 higher. I would set it higher to compensate for when the aperture would shrink down, to compensate for the zooming, to then give me room to then slow my shutter speed down to a number that's not going to be blurry when give me handshake. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes
so
total sense.
It's depending on what you're doing. But when I shoot concerts or something, I'm quickly able to change between the aperture or the shutter speed. I like to ride the shutter speed. It's the easiest thing to reach.
I ride the shutter all the time.
And then then you do aperture if that's the next thing, and then the last thing you start playing with is the ISO. But that's what I ride. Sound good, Sutter?
Yeah.
My question. Oh, this is my question. I had a question for you people.
Jared Poland.
And also John Morrison. I saw after I wrote this, John Morrison the third, not the first, not the second, but the third, had a question that was similar to this. And I said, basically, I get a lot of requests. It says, a lot of people want rapid fire critiques of their work. I can't do them all. I would love to do them all, but there's literally thousands upon thousands of them that have come in over the past 3 or so years.
Oh, makes sense.
And I can't get to them all because it's just, I can't.
That's all you would do.
That is all I would do. I can't do them all. Let's see. Would people consider paying for them privately? Answer that for me in a comment below. If so, what would you want to pay? What would be a reasonable payment for a video to be made critiquing your best 10 photos? And I wouldn't that wouldn't be public. That would be just private for you to get sent to. But would that be something of interest? I know that Zach Arias started doing this, and he was charging $100 or more at the time. And I don't think that he does it now. He only had a limited amount of them, but I just think it becomes time-consuming, very time-consuming, and it's then you're just trading dollars for time, and that is one of those things. Now, it can help a lot of people, and I know people would want it, so that's one part of the question. The other is, or what about either a membership site where you pay X amount of dollars, or high-end mentorship? So that's what he was asking about. John was asking about the mentorship. Would you ever take a couple people on as a mentor where you do a Skype call every week or twice a month, and then you do critiques for them? That is something that's more enticing. But when you get into a mentorship type thing, you're looking at a mentor, you're looking at thousands of dollars for that time and that trade. I mean, that's really what it is. So that's why I haven't really pushed charging for rapid fire critiques, because they would be a couple $100. Under $200, I think, if you did them, and then you just have to ask, is it worth the time? I know it would help people. So I'm asking you guys, would you want something like that? If I did X amount a month, would you pay for that? What would you pay for that? And it's just a matter of me determining, is it worth the time? Like, do you trade money for dollars? And this is the same thing that a lot of people run into as photographers. Do you trade your time for money? Meaning it's something that you don't want to do and it doesn't really pay that well, but you do it just to make money. But maybe you could have been doing a personal project that may benefit you in the long run. Because, when you take jobs that it's just for money, you kind of subconsciously you just hate doing it.
Yeah. Would you still do your regular free
I'd still do
ones
free ones.
Once in a while?
Oh, yeah. Well, I would just randomly pick ones that I wanted to do free.
But just ones that wanted to jump up in the waiting list.
Well, or to get it privately done, or they just aren't patient
right away. Yeah, that's
because
what I mean.
It's not about not being patient. It's just that I see things like, I submitted a rapid fire critique at the beginning of March. No, at the beginning of March. Yeah. It's like, are you going to do mine?
It's only been like 2 weeks.
It's the same thing with the Squarespace rapid fire critiques that I said that I would critique people's sites. I have 600 of them. There was probably almost 1,000 of them that came in, and I went through a couple hundred, and there's still hundreds upon hundreds of more. And I haven't done any in a while, to be honest, because it's very hard to get to.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was bad of me to say that I would critique people's. Maybe I should have put a date on it. Like, I'm going to try to get to the first 100 at this point. It probably would have been better for me so that people don't think I'm an asshole and I said I would do something and I'm not. I'm just being honest. I haven't been able to get to the 600 that are left. Because I want to take time. I don't want to, people are like, well, you could just have somebody write canned answers and just paste them in.
Yeah, you don't want to just rush it.
Well, I can't do that. I have to look at your site in order to give you an honest feedback.
Very true.
So that's the hard part about it. But I mean, I try to get to as many questions as possible and try to answer as many of those. So that's my question to you guys. Would you pay for a high ticket mentoring thing, which I would only take X amount a month or a quarter, and that would be like you get 2 calls a month, and maybe they're 30 minutes each, and you get unlimited email support for that time. And what do you think, Sutter? Is it worth it? Not for you, but in general?
In general, I think it could be good to get that one-on-one, that individual time. Especially if people are in areas where they can't find someone. The Skype stuff would be great. Plus, it's somebody that they're familiar with and watch their videos and already have been learning from. So I don't think it's a bad idea. It's just more finding the right amount of time that you're giving someone, obviously, versus how much they would pay for it.
Yeah, because if the mentoring thing would happen, it's got to be like $2,500.
Well, that's what I personally think that's the most beneficial is that one, because it's not just photography critiquing, it's also business and all that kind of stuff as well mixed in, and having that personal, phone call once a week.
And there's coaches. There's been coaches forever. Even before the internet, there's been mentor coaches, business coaches, this type of life coaches, which I'm not a big fan of life coaches, but as the internet world came about, there's a lot of coaches for everything. And there's a lot of people there are photography mentor people out there that do this. There's internet marketing people that they have these things called mastermind classes. Mastermind classes, they charge people, they're like 10 grand, and they meet 4 times a year. Mostly in Vegas, and so you have to pay for your flights there, and it's a mastermind group of 8 to 10 people. So and the guru guy, say it's a fitness mastermind. The main guy charges these people 10 grand, and they meet 4 times. And they ask business questions, and they learn from each other, and they help each other. They can be very beneficial. It's all of somebody's mental state, whether you're open to that or not open to that. And I'm not here to sell somebody on that or not. If you think it, because I've seen it, mentorship can work for people if they ask the right questions, and they have a set. Like if you take one thing out of it that really benefits your business, then definitely it's well worth it.
Yeah.
But it's what you put into. Because I know another guy,
That's
Avi,
the thing.
he's in Israel, and he takes this other guy's. Ryan Lee was a guy that I shot one of his conferences early on, and he was like $2,500 just to be in a Facebook group.
Wow.
And he's like, there's a lot of people in the group, but most don't even ask questions. And he's like, I use it and I ask questions, and it's been beneficial. So he felt that it was beneficial for him, but then there's people that don't even utilize it.
Yeah, if you're going to pay that kind of money, I mean, you better be prepared and have a list ready.
All right, I took a while on that, but I'm just curious. It's just one of those things, and it's whether I want to spend the time doing it. I do. I want to help people, but you just have to say, is your time worth that? Could the time be spent creating something or doing a personal project? It's hard to say. It really is hard to say.
It is. Why don't you do like a poll or something like that?
Well, we did it when we did a survey the last time. We did ask people, and a lot of people said they would be interested in a membership website. But again, my problem with membership site is, what the hell do I put in it that I don't already give away?
Yeah.
What do you do like that? Do you release RAWtalk 3 days prior with no ads or something?
I don't know.
And that's what they benefit because they're not hearing ads, but then you'd have to cut them out. It's just, who knows? And is that even worth the time? That's always the rub. This is business. That's how it works. Okay, we've got Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller. Boo, boo.
Every time.
Go on, take your money and run. What? We haven't gotten a Stephen Miller question in a while.
We haven't had a Stephen Miller question in a while.
Some people call me a space cowboy. Yeah. Some people call me the gangster of love. Woo. Stephen Miller. When printing large-ass prints, I like to call them big-ass prints, Stephen.
Large-ass prints.
Is it better to send...
Enormous.
Is it better to send a JPEG or a TIFF file? My JPEG is about 23 megabytes, and my TIFF file is 200 plus megabytes for my D800. Have a nice photo of the Grand Canyon I'm printing on metal and don't want to screw this up.
Yeah.
So this is a question that people ask. So they're like, you shoot RAW. My phone is vibrating. I don't think it's UPS. Nope. It's a bunch of smiley faces and crying faces from a girl. Maybe I upset her. I hope I didn't upset her.
Is it the girl that picked you up?
No.
She must have been really strong.
She was strong. She asked if she could crack my back, and I'm like, no. That you don't mess around with cracking your back. That's one of those things.
It feels so great.
It feels so good.
No, I think she just never
Even
mind.
though my chiropractor did say that's like the worst thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it's just people that don't know what they're doing, that think they know what they're doing because they read a book on the internet. And then I was like, no, you can't crack. I let her pick me up. There's a photo of it somewhere. So here is it. A lot of people don't know that you edit your RAW files and they go, well, what do I do after that? I save them as full res JPEGs. A TIFF file is an uncompressed JPEG. You will very rarely see any difference between your full res JPEG at this point, at this juncture, and your TIFF file. TIFF files are freaking huge. If they accept a 200 megabyte TIFF file, then send that in. You have nothing to lose. This is what I do when I make big ass prints. I export from Lightroom at this point. You can export it the inch dimensions that you want. I used to do it differently. I used to go take the full res export out of Lightroom, and then I'd go into Photoshop and I would grow it. There was also something called Genuine Fractals that used to grow it and tells you do it better. And then maybe Sutter's going to argue with me on this one too. There's the people that say you shouldn't just enlarge your image straight up in Photoshop from one size to another. You shouldn't grow it. You should do it in increments of 20%.
I do exactly what you said at first. I just export it from Lightroom at the same size I'm going to print.
That's what I do.
And that's what I do as well.
It's simple.
I'm talking 10 years ago.
I think that's an old mentality of using those programs that are now outdated.
But even back then,
Yeah.
even 10 years ago, they're like, yeah, you take your file in, and then you grow it 20% at a time, and that's gonna. I'm like, but it's digital. It's digital. I don't understand
I'm
the
sure
difference.
there was some reason on the back end
There
where the
must have
program
been.
wasn't doing something.
And I
unless-
bet you never would ever
I
get
doubt
back
I would
together.
notice
by
it.
cubic sharpening.
Yeah, I don't worry about it. And I have big ass prints that I've printed the Modest Yahoo thing that I just.
I mean, honestly, it comes
Grow.
down to pixel peeping at that point.
So what I
because-
do.
And it's all the distance of how far away you're from
Well,
the
that as
print.
well,
Because you
yeah.
can have the crappiest like pixelated image, but if you're 20 feet away from it, it's going to look super sharp and great.
Right. I take it at the largest size.
Yeah.
Sorry, the size I want to print it, I export it from Lightroom.
I make sure the ratio is the same. Export it that
right.
size,
And then I upload it.
I also, when I did
Full
work,
res JPEG,
when I-
100%.
me too. When I did work in a lab, I tested out everything: Adobe RGB, sRGB, JPEG,
sRGB look crappy, right?
No, actually,
would
sRGB
convert.
looked fine because that was the ICC profile of the lab that I was printing from. But everything looked fine, and really there was no drastic difference on anything I did, whether it's JPEG, TIFF, whatever type of format. JPEG looked exactly the same.
And
I
you'd
mean, I
know
was
from
even
your
pixel
printing.
peeping at that point. I was just printing and printing and printing.
Yeah.
Same exact picture, seeing what's the best. The only thing that I noticed was that I would print like a third of stop overexposed just to bring it up a little bit in the final print.
Sure.
And that worked the best.
So that's what I do, Steven. That's what most of us seem to do.
Yeah.
Matt Wright, would you photograph an adult actress? Would you photograph adult actresses for an adult agency if you were approached? If you did shoot for them, would you use a stage name for credit? Absolutely. I wouldn't use a stage name. I mean, what do you have to be ashamed of? You have nothing to be ashamed of. It is a job, and if you want to do it and you can be creative, it's like Robert Timko meerkatted a girl. Just look for Robert.
She knew she was getting meerkatted, right?
She volunteered to be. Did you watch the Meerkat, Sutter?
I didn't watch it.
Did you watch it with Inspector Dale Cooper?
Nah,
And did
every
he?
time he meerkatted, except for like his one late night beer talk, I was busy.
Late night
so I
beer
wasn't
talk.
able-
I gotta watch that one.
Late
Yeah,
night
he
beer
was just
talk.
at his computer, like drinking a beer, just talking
Drunk
to
as
everybody.
hell. Late night beer talk.
But
Welcome.
So he shoots a lot.
Yeah.
Of naked women.
Ooh.
Tattoos, naked women. And he
Hey.
posted on his Tumblr, which is, what's his Tumblr? Robert Timko?
It's just
Tumblr?
roberttimko.com. He has his domain like attached.
Oh, yeah. Go to
it.
roberttimko.com if you're into that.
Or it might be Rob Timko.
It's Rob Timko. It's NSFW for anybody that's going to look at it now.
Mitzvah.
But he takes those jobs and he does corporate jobs, and people know what he shoots.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. It's like, you don't need a stage name. Just be yourself.
I mean, if you're a newborn photographer or something, I wouldn't exactly put that in your portfolio.
No, you don't put it in your portfolio.
If you shot an adult actress.
It's the exact opposite.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
polar opposites.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
anyway, I wouldn't be ashamed to do it. And
I wouldn't be
and
ashamed. I'd still want to get paid and everything,
Right.
but I just wouldn't. be
I
very
maybe
public
wouldn't
about
post it.
Yeah.
Because whatever.
Yeah.
John Lopez. My question is for RAWtalk. Okay, well, that's what it's for.
Is that for everyone?
Is that for the table?
table?
Is you mentioned?
Oh, is you?
I'm sure it means as you mentioned, you got $3,000 to $4,000 weddings. How did you get up there? Did you build up to those prices, or did you just jump right in? Well, I started charging $8 million. Now
wait.
That's my line.
$8 million.
Of course, it's a building process. Somewhere around $1,800, and that was for 2 photographers and an album. And you realize you're not making as much
Wow,
money.
that's great price.
Yeah, well, this was when this was film time.
I was going to say that's on films.
Yeah, 2004-ish, 2005, 6-ish, something like that. No, probably 2002, 3, 4, somewhere around then. And then you get to the point where you're like, I could be that photographer that shoots 52 weddings for $1,000 and make a lot less than $52,000 a year, or I could raise my prices because I think that the quality of work is there and I'm able to sell that, because you have to be able to sell somebody on the fact and give them a reason to hire you for a higher price. $3,000 to $4,000 is a pretty good sweet spot. There's more expensive and there's less expensive. This is the step above the $2,000 basic wedding. And you have to look at yourself. What are you going to make? How are you going to, is it worth your time again? Because you could shoot 52 weddings a year and make $52,000 or less, or you could shoot 20 weddings a year at $3,000 to $4,000 and make $2,500 to $3,500 in profit.
Yeah.
And what's better? Well, it's less work, but it's also higher value.
It's like what we talked about last week on Photo News, with the average wedding price being about $2,500 for 2014. I think $3,000 to $3,500 is a good, not starting point, but a good point to be at, because you're not below average, yet you're not average, and you're not, high end.
And so what I'm trying to do, I have a friend
and it's reasonable too.
I have a friend who just got engaged, and she's been asking me all about wedding prices because she's hearing prices up to like $11,000, $12,000 and stuff like that. So I'm asking her to come in to talk, because it would be good to hear from the client. And I want to answer all her questions. I want to help her find somebody. And I just think it would be good to share this with everybody, put her in the chair and have and hear her what she's interested in and the concerns that she's finding from photographers. It's going to be a good conversation.
Well, I think what a lot of people don't realize too is they pay around say $4 or $5 grand, but then there's always that after the fact, like $1,000 or $2,000 that you pay for printing or extra prints or whatever it may be.
If you're getting extra prints,
extra albums, there's always extra albums
there's
for the
add-ons.
family. Yeah,
but if you're transparent with things, it's like
if you're straight up in the beginning and getting a package deal,
right? It's $3,500 straight up. Shoot and deliver and edit, and maybe I'll give you proofs and throw in some extra stuff that just sounds like added value. And then you want to start adding albums. Well, an album is at least $1,000 or more.
Yeah.
Or they've come down in price because you can order them basically from anywhere, and they're
really
very
can.
good. Like Adorama Pix does it, and there's a ton of different places that print real deal albums now. It was much harder in the 2000s when I was doing albums.
Oh, I'm sure.
It was much harder. And so it's your time that's involved with the album. You can charge less money for add-on albums because then you just push a button and redo the album. Or if you do it 10 by 10, then you could also have a parent book made 8 by 8, which is the same album. You can just
That's what
have
my
them
sister did.
downsize it and you're good to go.
Yep.
Okay. John Pacificus. Wait a second. He's got 4 names. John Pacificus Vegnanus Smith.
John Smith, that's his name? John Smith?
John
Pocahontas?
Maybe you wanted to
Pacificus
stand out on Facebook.
John Pacificus Veganus Smith.
Where's Pocahontas at?
Further to your monitor calibration video, what is involved in setting up a monitor so that the photos I edit using it will look the same on the screen as they would if I printed by a pro printer? Well, you got your ICC profiles. You can get the printer profiles to match your screen so you know exactly the color, how the color is going to look. But what a lot of people forget is that your monitor is backlit. Your print is not backlit.
Yep.
So you have to compensate for that when you print. Here is the best way, and I used to do this without color calibrating my monitor. I would make a sample print, and I would hold it up next to the monitor and go, yep, it's too yellow on my monitor, and I know that it's going to come out like this, so I knew I had to either add more yellow or take more yellow out. It was just a visual thing. That was my calibration.
Yeah, mine was had a magenta tint to it, so I'd always add a little green to each photograph, and it would come out fine. Plus, I had the luxury of printing on a $50,000 printer, so I could do whatever. I could test print and make sure.
But that's the thing. Even
reprint.
from Adorama Pix, when I first started using them, or I used to use MPix in the past, and before that, I used someplace in Atlanta that I can't remember the name of. But that's what I would hold the prints up, and I would look.
And you also have these days, like I think Sutter, you do this from time to time, is just checking with like your phone or a tablet or something like that as like a secondary monitor,
Just
making
multiple
sure.
monitors.
Yeah, because I tend to do that too. Is I'll send it to my phone and just kind of double check.
And it's tough
it looks very
because
similar.
I just have
gotta go
Dropbox on all
through
my
these.
devices, so I drop, from the computer, put it in Dropbox, open it up on my phone. My phone always looks different from my monitor, and then I'll put it on like Leanne's phone, and they all look different, but I try to kind of take the majority medium.
It comes down to trial and error. That's really what it comes down to.
Basically. All right, I got to move through these because I got a lot this week.
Yeah.
And I don't want to take forever.
Let's do it.
Good, we answered that.
John Smith.
Michael Rayburn. I've noticed slight differences in the actual focus points when switching various lenses between my various camera bodies. I have a D600 and a D810. I'm assuming that I need to fine-tune my lenses to my camera body. My question is where that information is actually being stored. Is it tuning the lens to the camera, or is it tuning the camera to the lenses?
That's a good
I'm only
question.
talking about a tiny bit of lost focus, but I want perfection. Look, I want perfection too, and I think that the dumbest thing in the world is how some places out there like, you need to calibrate your lens. I shouldn't have to freaking calibrate my damn professional lenses to my bodies.
You shouldn't have to, but
So
I'm sure it's needed.
what you're doing is you're calibrating the camera to the lens because it's telling the camera to move the focus a certain point difference from. Look, they sell charts. You can go shoot them. I'm not going to do that personally. And I think that when you buy a freaking lens, it should be calibrated. Everything should be on. I just think you need to compensate based off of knowing that something's either going to be off or not off. And then if that focus, do you use this ever?
I never have. I felt like my results were close enough where
Yeah,
it
me
wasn't
too.
worth
I've
doing.
never gotten into the fine tuning, but if you do it, a lot of the cameras save it, so they know what lens. When you put the lens on, that you put that 24-70 on, it's going to compensate. It could also be the lens. I mean, it just could be off, or the body.
There's a whole different number.
There's so
of
many
things
different
that it
gamuts
could
of
be.
things.
Yeah.
Glenn Hill, what are your thoughts on having a free website for starting out to build a name, and obviously once getting the income boost, getting an income boosted? He should have used a comma there. Income boosted to a
Grammar
site
police
like
here.
Squarespace. Second comment, because he left a second comment. Glenn Hill. I was paying for a site through Vistaprint for about 2 years, but their service just wasn't what I expected. I wanted to go with Squarespace, but I haven't got the cash to get it with a domain for paying for a year right off the bat. So, I mean, this is... Look, if you're in business, sometimes you have to find a way to scrape together the money to showcase your work.
It's a big pill to swallow.
Yeah.
What, the business part or buying a website?
I mean, the money end of things. It is what it is.
It's
but
$80 roughly for the first year, roughly. And I'm not trying to say that that's not a lot of money, because $80 is a good amount of money. You don't have to pay for it up front. And the only thing you don't get with Squarespace when you don't pay for it up front is you don't get the free domain, which is $12.99. You can get a domain from anywhere for $12.99, and then you can pay $8 or $10 a month.
That $12.99 is each year.
You always
Gotcha.
re-up that for a year. That's just the thing. That's just how it works. Mm-hmm. It's just one of those things.
I didn't even know Vistaprint offered websites.
A lot of, like, even GoDaddy and Gator, HostGator, they all offer these templates and website builders.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, they are garbage.
Yeah.
Because they're not. And I don't know what they were paying for them, and it's probably like $4 or $5. Just because you think you're saving money, but then it's really not giving you the functionality that you want. There's free options. Look, you could. There's free options you could do. I'm not a big fan of some of those free options, and I think that the $8, $10 a month investment in your business is well worth it. Mm-hmm. Somehow you have to figure out how to make it happen. Mm-hmm. Is that being a dick saying that?
No.
Or is it just?
I don't. I mean, personally, I don't think it's that much of an. I think you need to make that investment if you're going to do photography.
Right.
If that's going to be
You
your
have to
full-time
send
income.
your clients somewhere to see
Yeah,
your work.
you have
and
to.
You can't just send them to
Flickr's
Facebook.
confusing to someone that doesn't know Flickr.
Yeah, it is.
You could
it's still
maybe get
confusing to
away
me.
with like a WordPress blog or something if you want to put in the tech end.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Or
even then
Tumblr or something.
Yeah, even then with the WordPress, you're spending $45 for a template.
Yeah.
Unless
and then
you build
plugins. Yeah, unless you build it, and then what's your time worth?
Exactly.
Then my time is worth a lot more than the $10 a month than I could have been spent. But that's that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Should I give him one, or make him suffer and go buy one?
Give him one. Why not?
All right. All right, Glenn. All right,
Okay.
Glenn. So this is what we're gonna do. I'll get Square. I'm not giving it to you. Squarespace is giving it to you.
Let's make that clear.
To be clear, they're gonna give you a free year of Squarespace, the basic package, which is like $100 a year, which is a nice little savings. But what I'm gonna make you do is buy somebody one when you can afford it.
Yeah.
When you can afford it, you pay it forward to somebody else.
There you go.
And get somebody else set up that couldn't do it, give it back to them. So we'll take care of that. Glenn, if you don't hear from me, send me a Facebook message from your Facebook account, but the message do it on the fan page, because that I can get send it there with your email, with your Squarespace trial address, and then they can set you up with a free account for a year.
There you go.
But you have to pay it forward to somebody else in the future.
I like when people do that.
That's the trade-off.
Yeah.
Quentin Johnson, who we saw in Chicago.
Oh, we did, yeah.
Chicago.
Sorry, Quentin Johnson.
Janssen.
Which I don't think he's Nordic. What are your thoughts on colleges having unfit teachers to teach photography classes?
Oh, it's the best.
I hate, first off, unfit teachers to begin with. And not out of shape. I just mean terrible teachers. That brings me back to this guy named Harris back in college, who was he was the husband of the president of the college. And he was, I guess, a business teacher, but he was teaching public speaking. Now, I'm very outspoken, and at this time I was very good at speaking in public, even in college. And his public speaking class consisted of handing out a piece of paper with some information on better public speaking, and then each week giving you a topic to talk about in front of the class. No teaching whatsoever. And I yelled at the guy. I didn't yell. I spoke out and said,
You were public speaking.
I said, what is the point of this class if you're not going to... I'm paying for college. It's one thing you go to private school, public school, which is a little different, but those teachers shouldn't suck anyway.
Yeah.
I had a good public speaking class in high school that was college weighted, which was awesome because they gave you techniques and they talked about it and you did it, you know, and it was really good. And we had 2 teachers in it, which was really awesome because they were good teachers. And then here we go. He sits in the corner and each week you would get up and speak, which was bullshit.
Yeah.
That you're not learning. You're just learning. That may be getting over the fear, but you're not getting to become a better speaker. I don't like terrible teachers. And I had a thing with terrible teachers. But what I ended up doing is I said, look, I want to go first every week. I would give my bullshit speech and I'd walk out the freaking door and leave.
Drop the paper.
No,
Drop the mic.
That's what I did. I said, if you're not going to teach, I'm not going to sit here. I don't need to sit here to listen to people talk. If you're not going to teach, if you're not going to educate us and help us be better. And I did. I went first each week and I said, I'm leaving. And that's it. I walked out of every class and went and did work, went and printed, did whatever I needed to do. But I'm like, I'm paying for this bullshit and you're not teaching.
Yeah. I had a pretty hard-ass, tough public speaking teacher who would pretty much humiliate and call you out if you messed up a line or something like that, or were nervous when you were actually doing the presentation in front of the class.
Right.
And I felt bad for some of the kids in the class that clearly weren't a public speaker to begin with at all. But so,
right. No, and I
but
hate...
he was pretty good with at least teaching you tips.
It is,
and
but
tricks.
you don't make somebody feel like a dick.
Exactly.
Which I guess I've
he was a
done
little
before.
too extreme.
So I had this in 6th grade. We had this teacher named Nancy Cartwright. AKA
You know her first name.
Yeah, Nancy Cartwright. Well, because
He would go home, just think of Nancy.
Miss Cartwright, and then
Nancy.
she got
Nancy.
married one weekend and became Miss Skino.
It's still Nancy, though.
Nancy
so.
Skino, yeah, that didn't change. But there was this kid, Kilroy.
First name?
Greg Kilroy.
Oh, I was like,
Very, he was a bigger kid. Mm-hmm. People made fun of him.
Yeah.
A lot of people made fun of him because he made it easy for them to make fun
That's
of
a
him
shame.
because he played right into it and didn't just be like, and so what? He would, So I always felt the need. This must have come from my mom's side, but I would be a protector to the people that, because I could handle the harshness of if somebody wanted to make fun of me. I didn't care. It didn't matter. But I would befriend the people that may have not had the friends or sat alone at lunch. I'd go sit with them or have them sit with me because who gives a shit, And then this was even as a kid. I don't know. It's just, I guess, how I was brought up that they didn't, because my mom always talked about being an outcast when she was younger and stuff like that. So I guess that resonated with me. But this one day, the teacher was saying, I'll read out your test scores. And I know I said I need to blow through this stuff, but I just think that this is a good story. She's like, I'm going to read out your test scores. If you want me to announce it to the class, I'll announce it to the class. And if you don't, just say no and I'll tell it to you later.
why did they do that?
I don't know.
I
the
feel like they
worst
did that
thing.
in elementary school and middle school for me, too. I remember that exact sort of...
Yeah.
So it
humiliating
gets
for
to
them.
Kilroy.
Well, you get to pick if you want it or
Yeah,
not.
but it gets
still.
to him, and he thinks that he may have done well. So he says, read it out loud. And being a rewind that. Just bleep that or something. Make a note. You can bleep that. She was just you're going to understand why I say that. It's because knowing that this kid is a very sensitive kid to begin with, you're going to sit there and announce that he got a 56 on a test out of 100 to the whole class, knowing that it's going. She should have just said, "See me after class." And yes, that would have sucked too. But to absolutely humiliate the freaking kid in front of the entire class, where he went out of the room crying, and I think I may have said something. I may have said something to her, and I may have left class. I've done that. I did that. I don't know why, and even as like a 12-year-old.
Sounds like you.
I don't know. Yeah, I just felt like, why would you do that? Why would you do that to somebody?
That's why I don't understand why they do it to begin with. Even if they do say, okay, let me hear my grade, you never know. It's going to be something like that.
Right, and at that point, you just, as an adult, you say, I'll read it to you. See me after class. We'll talk about it. And that's going to suck too, because then you know that you didn't do well. Mm-hmm. But you don't sit there and pause dramatically and then go 56. Knowing, I think she took joy in it. I didn't like her. Some of the kids used to call her Miss Skiho because she changed her name.
Can I just jump in real quick?
Well, can you raise your hand and not put up a fist like it's Black Power?
Hey.
I mean, that's like Black Power.
I stopped in my high school the other week, and I went through the main office, and they have a bunch of my photos put up on the wall in the main office in my high school.
With credit and attribution?
Yeah, they have like an actual, like at the bottom of a trophy, a little thing.
Placard.
Yeah, placard with my name and my class number.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's like no one else's photos are up there. And
what's that, class of 2014?
13.
Stephen
Good story.
Sutter's Shrine.
Sorry for the side note, but I mean, you guys have had teachers in the past that have done stupid things. I think, yes, it's hard to be a teacher, and there's a lot of great teachers. Let me get back to the question. Quentin Janssen, what are your thoughts on having unfit teachers teach photography class? That brings up a story. Just kidding. I asked this because my first teacher did not like photography and told our class to use autofocus always and never go over 100 ISO, and I feel like it set me back in the beginning. Well, if it was autofocus, I have no problem with that personally, because that's how I shoot, autofocus, because I can't manually focus very well because of my eyes. But I still think in this day and age, autofocus for a lot of things that people shoot, there's no reason not to use it. Maybe he's meant shooting auto in exposure time.
Probably.
Look, we know that you don't shoot at 100 ISO and stuff like that, but what do you do with a teacher like that? If you don't know any better, you don't know any better. You have to hope that the teacher knows what they're talking about. And if he's a younger, what was he, 20, 21? I think he was 19, 20. He was in 21. And I think what you got is sometimes you just don't know. But if you know better, then I don't think he knew. I don't think he knew better. What is he saying? What do you do? What are your thoughts on I just think the teachers need to be better in school. And I think people need to say something, but it's like Bucks County Community College has a teacher who's a fine art photography teacher that doesn't really teach very well, is what people have told me. There's a lot of free resources online, right?
Yep.
Photo. Robbie Green. I was mentioned there's a lot of free sources all over the place. Robbie Green, what are your opinions about paying to put your work into a gallery? Any advice for a first-timer looking to maximize their experience and minimize the rookie mistakes? Sutter, what do you think about paying for putting your shit into a gallery?
It's kind of tough because there definitely are benefits to a gallery, but there's definitely not a lot of benefits to a gallery.
Thank you.
It depends what you're shooting and who your audience is, because if your audience is like art appreciators and you're in a city like we are in Philadelphia, you could get some reach and play.
If you're Peter Lick.
But not really. If you're just some guy, no name, you've never built yourself.
Anybody asking you to pay to play, it's like paying to enter competitions or paying to put your photo in. Hey, your photo's been selected to be in a photo book. No, I'm not paying you to put my picture in a book just to have, for you to, think that means something to me. Mm-hmm. That you don't do that. So that I'm not a fan of paying to have your work placed. Unless you're renting the place or it's efficient and you can bring people out to look at it. Yeah. But what do they promise you? That's the thing. Unless they're going to bring out hundreds of people to look at your work and possibly buy it, they're just making money off of you putting your work into their place. Yes?
Yes.
Alberto A.C. Filho. Filho. I think he wrote actually how to say his name.
Philo.
No, he doesn't say how to say his name. Okay. Philo, in percentage, spelled %TAGE. How important?
Nice.
How important is? Do you think networking is for commercial / editorial / family, fashion, etc. photographers? Can a not outgoing photographer succeed? remember what I told you guys about my friend Al Zaroli, that button pusher, quote unquote. He calls himself a businessman before he's a photographer. He's just a guy who makes money and pushes a button. His words, not mine. He is very outgoing and schmoozes and puts himself into a place to be successful. Yes, people can be successful and not be outgoing, but if nobody knows about you and doesn't know what you're doing, then no. If you want to do family work and you want to do portraits and stuff, you got to go schmooze and talk to people and give them a reason to hire you. That's it. You have to be, in order to succeed in just about anything, you kind of need to be outgoing. You really do.
You do.
And I was anti-people. I think I'm still anti-people, but I've kind of been able to learn how to deal with. I don't like schmoozing. I hate fake. Like, you go to those networking meetings and they're like, "Do you have a card?" I'm like, "No, I don't have a freaking card," because all you're gonna do is send me bullshit about your job, your business, instead of, like, I guess Gary Vee has talked about this in the past. Instead of trying to sell to me, why don't you befriend me first and talk about common interests and then maybe try to sell me? One thing I hate about network events is you'd give your card out and then you get 20 emails from, "Hi, it's John over at so-and-so Auto Body." I'm like, dude, why don't you, why are you doing this? Or, do you need better organization? Why are you sending me a form letter? Why don't have a conversation with me? Know that I'm a photographer and that I'm into photography, and say, "You know what? I like taking pictures as well. Do you think we could go shoot together? Or do you think I'm looking to buy a camera? Do you have any tips?" And then I'd be like, "Yeah, so what do you do?" And then it organically works into it. So what I used to do at networking events is I would just randomly go up to people, or I'd see them walking by and I'd be like, "Bob, hey!" Like I was their long lost friend. And they'd be like, "How do you know my name?" And I'd just keep walking, basically, because they'd be all like, "How do you know me? Do I know that person?" It's just that everybody wears a name tag. And so you just go up to them. It's like, "Jennifer, yo, hey!" And then you just fuck with people.
Last night was fun, Jennifer.
What'd you say?
I said last night was fun, Jennifer.
Oh, no. Yeah, no.
Just do weird stuff like that.
That's terrible, Steven. That's misogynist. You're a misogynist.
I say one thing.
Paul Valerio, "Hi, Jared. I'm in a photo club, and it's a great group of people. I need to spur engagement and participation. We have photo challenges 15 year. I guess they've been around for 15 years. 2 picnics, 10 to 12 photo walks, monthly newsletters, and a holiday party. We struggle to get involvement over 20% for any single event with 100+ members. I do email blasts and Facebook blasts and events. Maybe you're doing the wrong events or too many events. Maybe these people aren't interested in it, or maybe it's just the wrong stuff you're doing. Maybe it's not interesting. Are you in any clubs, Sutter? Not just the president of?
No photo clubs or anything along those lines.
If you're only getting 20% participation, something is wrong.
It's like the sale. If it keeps happening, people aren't going to jump on it. Where if you have fewer events, like
Sporadic,
you said.
yeah.
If you do fewer events but better events, maybe make the photo walks better, but ask people, what could I do? What could we do to get better attendance? Do you need to get better speakers? Do you need to do better photo walks? Do you need to engage more or engage less in this case? So that's what you have to think about. Outside of the box, hold that photo competition, get people, and they must attend. You can't find people, but you need to give a reason to show up. And I think one of the reasons for people to show up is you have better speakers or speakers that come in that people are interested in seeing. And just say you have to come in order to come to the picnic or the final thing, or it's mandatory. You want to enter the photo competition, you got to come in to X amount of things. I guess that's it. Isn't 20% participation low? Oh. Any ideas how I can improve participation? I see other clubs with 50% plus participation, and they put out less effort. What needs to change? I look forward to your thoughts. Well, maybe you should go into their clubs and get higher percentages. Maybe the people just don't want to be involved. Maybe they're just not interested. You got to ask people, what are they interested in? What would make you show up to an event? And if they do less work and get more participation, what are they doing different? Maybe it's just a better people that are interested.
Yeah.
It could be as simple as they're not interested in it. And if it's the same 20 people showing up out of 100 every time, then just tell the people you're out of the freaking club. You can't be in my club. It's exclusive.
Special club.
It's exclusive. Dane Janssen. Oh, sorry. Dan. There's no E. Dan Johnson. Is there any plan on making a marketing/social media guide in the near future? Trying to grow organically on Facebook seems to be a hit or miss lately. Thank you. People have asked for a business marketing guide. I don't know. I really don't know if I'll do it because I don't know if...
Listen to RAWtalk every week.
Well, I mean, I do give away a lot of information here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, then I start venturing into the internet marketing world, telling people how to be successful online, and I don't know that I want to charge for that. I don't know that I want to offer that because, again, is it something that I really enjoy doing? I love marketing, I love business, I love branding, and I love helping people learn and get better, but I don't have the secret. And I think a lot of people that say how to get 10,000 fans on Facebook, which there is a guy that I know that has a program for that, and it's like, okay, you know, it's just like, okay, you know, who knows?
Follow these 310 rules and
Right.
you will get by with 10,000 followers.
You can find stuff from Gary V.
Instantly.
You can listen to his stuff. You can read some of his books. Again, he doesn't have any secrets either. There's no secrets. It's just quality work above everything else trumps all. Plus being smart about what you do and just and being good. I mean, I'm going to speak at YouTube tomorrow in San Francisco, and they asked me to be on a panel in front of 80 to 100 channels that have 5 to 10,000 subscribers. And I told them I don't want to know the questions beforehand because I don't want to know the questions from the panels. And I would rather open it up to the people out there, but this is their show and it's not mine yet. yet. I told them that, one, I want to be on the panel alone, and I want people to ask questions, rapid fire, because the best questions are going to come from them.
This is my show, YouTube.
The best questions are going to come from the people. They always come from the people asking organic questions instead of, because they're going to want to know, how'd you get started? Where did your big break come from? I don't give it. I want people to ask questions that they really want to know. Anyway, so I'm going to go speak.
How do you upload a video
in front of those those people with 10,000 subscribers? I'm going to help. I'm going to do what I can do to help, and I want to offer them like an hour. I'd rather do a thing at the end for an hour and just say rapid fire questions. I'm going to see if there's time for that. I already mentioned it.
Jared, what is the secret to getting subscribers?
Next question. I don't have an answer for you to. I don't think I'm going to make one of those anytime soon. I do include it with some of the guides. I do some business extra bonus material
You do.
that
For
help.
that specific.
Right, for that specific genre, but there's no secrets to be successful on Facebook. If you put out quality stuff and give people a reason to interact, then it's going to happen. Or it's not going to happen.
Or it's not going to
I
happen.
mean, shit. You don't know. You can put the best work out in the
It's
world
a
if something doesn't
50-50
happen.
shot, really.
You don't know. Jim Hardwick, does dress/appearance factor above or below quality of work, or do both have to be tack sharp? Sometimes you have white bread people that want you to be the suit and tie wearing guy that shoots their thing.
Hey,
And
guys.
other times you could be the tattoo guy that wears a chain wallet and jeans with holes in it and and big gauges in your ears. I don't think there's one thing that's going to make everybody happy.
Or you can have a big afro.
Or you could have a big afro, which definitely has hurt from jobs in the
I'm
past.
sure, yeah.
And now it doesn't matter. But in the past it did. People didn't want to hire me because of that. And I'm just like, well, I'm not going to conform to that because there are people that will hire me because they don't care. So I still think appearance means something. If I'm going to meet with somebody, and again, if somebody has the best work and that's all I see, sometimes that matters. But if you're a smelly photographer and you're showing up on a shoot, if you smell, that kind of takes away from a lot of wanting to hire you because that could be a bad thing.
I
Right?
wouldn't hire a smelly photographer. He needs to smell fresh.
Stephen Dill. Can big bridal shows really translate into bookings if you're still in the early phase of the business? What would your exhibit be like? Absolutely. So here's the thing about bridal shows. I did very well at some bridal shows, and then in other bridal shows, I got nothing. I think part of that was it was 2007 and 2008 when people didn't have money to spend as much because that was a major
It's a
turn
recession.
downtime. It was hard because the year before I booked 6 weddings.
Business is booming.
From one. Here's how you do bridal shows. I think they were cost me $600 to get a table to do a bridal show.
But worth it if you book
where
one.
are you going to get a better opportunity to get in front of 100 to 200 or 300
Potential
clients
Yep.
in one place?
Totally agree.
The questions you need to ask for the bridal shows or places that are doing this is how many photographers do you allow? Or how many people in the same business do you allow to come to an event? If they say it's unlimited, you don't do it. You do not do it because there could be 20 photographers. And it's not that I'm worried that my work isn't going to compete against theirs. It's there's too many choices.
It's like a needle in a haystack. You
Right.
know, there's 10,000 photographers to pick from.
The ones
today.
that I did limited it to 5 or 6, and then they would squeeze in and say that the pros or those other people that do video limos and everything
Like the
don't really
package deals,
count.
yeah.
And they don't really count. But I think a good number is if there's 5 or less photographers in a 40 or so vendor place or in a show. Because the other photographers are going to be, there's some that are really good. I mean, your presentation, what I did is I brought a 27-inch iMac and I put it on the table and I let it cycle through.
That's a good idea.
And I had big ass prints hanging behind me. And I also thought it was important to have your camera on a black rapid strap or on a tripod behind your table or around so that people can subconsciously, subliminally think that you're a professional because you have professional gear. I really think that means something. It's a subliminal thing. I would have the camera on my hip. I'm like, we shoot with all professional gear.
Did you have your website from 2001 that said professional photographer?
No, I didn't. I would do giveaways.
Yeah. That's cool.
The giveaways would be
But is
if-
that cheesy?
No, it wouldn't be a giveaway like you're going to get something here. It's like book with me and you're going to get a free iPod or something.
Okay.
It was something that would be useful. And then promote the fact that I'll give you, always added value. You're not going to sign people right there. They're not going to sign, but get their email addresses, get their phone
Get 'em
numbers.
interested.
The thing is that they do supply you with a list. The bridal shows will supply you with an email list and number so you can contact people.
Spam the crap out of them.
Send them a postcard.
Ooh.
Send them something that people don't normally get.
What is this, 1990?
Don't just send a don't just blast email them after the fact.
Snail mail.
Because people do that. Send them something interesting in the mail.
Yeah.
Make it interesting. Spend the money a little bit there because all you need to do is get one person to book a $3,000 to $4,000 wedding, and it's well worth it. I know I'm going into the business. Here's business advice. This
There
is
you
kind
go.
of like the question before.
That's why I said
I
watch
love,
RAWtalk.
bridal shows. I did really well on it, and I offered people something. And you don't try to book them right then and there. You're not going to book somebody right there, but you try to set up meetings. There was an hour after I left it, I had 2 meetings already set up. People that already emailed me.
Nice.
One was the really tall couple. 6'6" and 6'7" with a 7'1" brother and a 6'8" dad and a 6'5" mom.
Wear stilts to shoot them.
And a 6'3" brother who's the short one of the family.
Tallest family ever.
They met at a tall people convention. That's how they met.
Nice.
That's how they got married, and that's how their daughter met the tall guy.
Our reception's at big and tall.
That's funny. Bridal shows are definitely awesome. Have your table set up nice. I put mints on the table. I always put lifesavers on the table because there's a lot of talking, so people like that. You could do giveaways of things that brides may remember you by, not just business cards, but have something made that they would do it for the women. Really, the men and have some things for the men. I actually gave shirts to men. I gave T-shirts to them, but have something there for women, whether it's chapstick with your information on it, just something that they're going to pull out of their bag that they're going to remember you by.
There you go.
I went into long information, but I thought it was worth it. Okay, Courtney Allen Case. If you had a choice, working for Time Magazine in the 60s or Newsweek in the 90s, which magazine would you choose? What? I know what you're
Time.
doing. I would go with the 60s. Newsweek in the 60s. Newsweek in the 60s or Time Newsweek in the 90s or Time in the 60s? 60s. I think the 60s were a lot better than the 90s for photography. Sam Logan, Fro. I work in a health clinic. One of the office folks said they were looking to decorate the walls with photos, and they want me to put together a proposal. They also said they were looking at another local photographer who I happen to know. I texted the other photographer and asked her if my prices were comparable to her prices. I explained that I didn't want to undersell her. I'm a hobbyist, but pays the bills with her. I'm a hobbyist, but she pays the bills with her photographs. She was offended and started calling the office to complain. Should I have not asked her how much she was charging? Should we as photographers share our prices to help keep our markets strong? I guess she means. Thanks. No. You shouldn't have asked her what her prices were. You could have said something differently, like,
phrase it
"Hey,
differently.
I work here, and I know that they asked you about doing photos. They also asked me about doing photos. Do you think we would be better off if we charged the same price so that we didn't undercut one another so that we both benefit from it?" That's one thing you could do, but I would not have been like, so why don't I know what your prices are? I don't think that you should have done that. And yes, she can be offended. Here's a way that you can get prices from other photographers, especially wedding photographers.
Pretend you're a potential client.
Pretend you're a potential client. Have your girlfriend call and ask. Now, as a photographer, I don't give out prices over email. I just don't. Wedding prices? No, I'm not giving you that price over email. It starts here. But let me get you on the phone so that I can answer your questions. That's how you're going to better get clients, because you can sell on the phone. You can't sell through email. A lot of people get dissuaded when they see pricing, or they think that they can't afford you, but maybe we could work a deal. Maybe maybe I'm in a good mood and I want to give you a discount. You never know. So if you want to find out a wedding photographer's price, just have somebody contact them and ask, and then call. I mean, that's a dick move, but that if you really want to know, that's what you do. Alex Medvick. Are we reaching a point where someone could build a substantial, leverageable, and monetarily useful following on Instagram, the same way people have been doing on YouTube? Yes,
Absolutely.
you can.
Oh yeah, we talked about that.
We talked
too
about that in
Photo
photo
News
news, but
people.
absolutely.
Weeks back.
Nathan Bantz. Now, who knows if it's sustainable?
Nobody
knows if it's
I
sustainable.
know some people that live on Instagram
right now.
But
Oh,
yeah,
definitely.
Going forward,
Yeah.
as stuff changes.
10
like
years
people,
from now.
people make money on Vine.
I get what you're saying.
People made money off of Vine pretty quick. They became Vine stars, but very, very few of them are able to take it to another level. Now, there are some Vine comedians that have gotten shows or gotten big on YouTube or gotten big here and gotten signed and start doing movies. That happens. Nathan Bantz. Why the change in quality and quantity here of late? Yeah.
Here of late.
Yeah, just wait.
Yeah.
Here as of late. On the one hand, you produce great edited videos, and the other, you flood my feed with sloppy cell phone video. If content is king, what gives? No, don't laugh at that. That's not funny. Yeah, content is king, but sometimes if we're just going to sit there and say, hey, I need some flying solo questions, I don't need to sit at my computer and do a fully produced video to do that. I look at Facebook as a different deliverable system. I look at Snapchat as a different deliverable system, and I look at YouTube on a totally different angle. That's where the fully produced final products are going. But if I want to interact or Instagram, same thing. If I want to interact real quick and ask a question, it's organic and it's easy to sit there and say, look, I'm looking for flying solo question. Hey guys, I'm talking into my camera phone right now because I just want to ask a quick question. There is nothing wrong, in my opinion, with doing that. And that is not spamming your freaking feed at all. It's not spamming your feed. That's a video showing you stuff, and it's just a quick way of looking at things.
I think of Facebook as more of the forum or something along the community itself.
It's like, hey, I'm doing this.
Yeah, it's almost like doing a meerkat and going live real quick. I don't know. I don't think it's a big deal if it's just a cell phone shot video just for Facebook real quick. Hey, give me some questions.
There's certain things that you do, and there's certain things that you take the time with.
You're not reviewing a product or something or doing a photo shoot on there.
Right, and if I quickly unbox it, hey guys, I wanted to quickly show you this, then it feels less produced, and some people enjoy that. Some people feel that it's raw, it's natural.
Shoot, raw.
Anyway, Tim Bowser.
You still got more questions.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've been talking a lot.
How many did you do this week?
I did the normal amount.
We're at about 2 hours almost.
Will you ever rant about the products that companies send to you that just outright suck? Many of us benefit from cool reviews, but I would love to see some of these cheesy items people throw your way. One of them is third-party batteries. We've had issues with third-party batteries. One was the Wasabi battery for the 5D Mark III. I've seen it when the camera crew was here shooting, and they're using third-party 5D Mark Canon batteries, and they just die, and they don't give any warning. I'm not a fan of third-party batteries. And that's any third-party battery. And I don't care what anybody says trying to sell you batteries that says they all come from the same factory. There's an issue. If it's not a genuine battery, we use third-party in the GoPro because they actually seem to work from testing. They seem to do the same thing as the GoPro battery, so maybe there's something similar there.
Maybe
but I'm not
GoPro's third-party.
Maybe it is. But I'm not going to put I'm not going to put a third-party battery in any of my cameras to possibly be out there shooting and have it die. Like, for example, if you're in Poland out on a street shoot, street photography, and you don't bring any backup batteries and your camera dies for no reason.
Yeah, that would suck if that happened.
And that did happen. So it's hard to take the negative approach and talk about certain products. It really is. Sutter, hand me that bomb-looking pipe bomb thing, please.
Oh, yeah.
So it's very, look, I won't let companies send me products that I think are garbage to begin with because I don't want to talk about them, because I don't want to be negative towards it. But you're right. But I don't want to have a, shitty product of the week. I don't want to do that. I don't want to go down that path. But I will tell you if something doesn't work right. This is called the Fat Bat, but I don't know why it says Quba, Quuba.pro.
Cuba.
I don't know why if it's called the Fat Bat. Now, they reached out to me asking if I would promote this product because they have a Kickstarter. And I was like, well, no. No, I'm not just going to promote your product. That's called advertising. right? That becomes an advertisement if you want to do that because you're making money off of it. It's one thing if it's a product that I want to do. Anyway, they said they spent all their money getting a porn star to make a video with this.
Ooh.
So they sent this as a test. What this is a GoPro charger, which it's good because you put it on a stick and it's going to give you 12 hours of battery for your GoPro. It also inside will allow you to...
Don't open it.
Yeah, I know, exactly. It will allow you to...
Is that ticking I hear?
No, it's not ticking. You could charge your cell phones and stuff like that. My issue with something like this is that it looks like a freaking pipe bomb.
It really does.
I'm gonna not fly. I wouldn't fly with
Is it
this.
heavy?
It's not your brother. I wouldn't fly with this.
It's not.
It's not that
heavy.
bad, but it's awkward.
Yeah.
And I don't mind the
I feel like it's
roundness,
just a grenade.
but it looks like a pipe bomb. And I said that to the founder. He's like, ha ha ha. No, I'm like, I'm serious.
Is that the fuse at the top?
Well, right. If this shows up to the TSA in my bag, you're going to get searched no matter what. No matter what.
I mean, I'm sure they'll pass you.
Well,
but
at the end, they'll be like, oh, that's cute, but I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with having an issue of somebody going, what is this? And you're like, well, it's not a bomb. Oh, did you just say the B word?
Bomb. What if I was a bombardier?
So that's one thing. Basically, I would not use this product because it's shaped like a pipe bomb.
As long as you don't fly with it, I feel like you're okay.
Yeah, if you don't fly with it, yes, it's fine for the GoPro aspect of it for an extra battery, and there's a GoPuck. They make something too. I don't mind the cylindrical thing, but I'm not going to take that with me. I rather take my Amazon one that we have.
Love it.
And use that, but whatever.
Yeah.
Gavin Otter. You have previously mentioned that you used to shoot higher-end weddings. How do you go about marketing yourself to the to clientele in these days before FroKnowsPhoto? Did you have any particular methods and worked really or didn't? Looking for blah, blah, blah. We talked a lot about weddings, I guess, today. How did I go after higher-end clients? I went after higher-end clients. I made sure that they were aware of what I'm going to charge. And they either fit or they didn't fit. You vet people. What is your budget? If it's $2,000 or less, we're not even going to have a discussion. And that's not a dick thing to say. It's just like, I start at $3,500 or more. If you could possibly squeeze $3,000 out, then we may be able to work together. But if you're at $2,000 and that's your limit, then I unfortunately won't be able to help you. Mm-hmm. You just have to do that. And you just vet people and you go from there. Done. Bernardo Arce, Arce. He says it's Arce.
Arse.
I often feel that there's no point in starting a blog or YouTube channel because there are already so many, but mostly importantly, I feel that those who have succeeded are the ones who got in early. What's your take on this? That's bullshit. That's my take on that, that's absolute bullshit. I started YouTube.
You didn't even get in that early.
I started in 2010 making YouTube videos, and the big YouTubers started around 2006. Because YouTube started in 2005.
Yeah.
So people started to get really big in 6 and 7. I didn't start till 2010. And there were a ton of people that had photo blogs out there, DP Review and all these other, Rob Galbraith at the time. He doesn't even do it anymore. But there were a ton of them already there. If you have something to say, you say it. And you put it out there. And if it's good and people latch onto it, then you go with it. There's always room for more. Nobody's going to come up with anything really original anymore. It's just you come up with a better mousetrap. That's just how it works. My phone is ringing. It's either my dad or it's the UPS guy.
I hope it's your dad.
It's my dad. Dad, we're in the middle of RAWtalk.
As usual.
A day early. All right, I'll call you back. Bye.
Every time.
It doesn't fail.
Yeah, I think he just knows.
No, he didn't know because he thought it was the day
He
early.
has like
usually-
the
yeah.
RAWtalk sense, like the Spidey sense. It's just
Exactly.
Yeah, we are
it's like, oh,
recording
you must be
early, though.
recording. So that's my answer to that. That's bullshit. That's complete and utter bullshit. If you have an idea, then do it. You have to try. And if you have the I hate the word defeatist mentality because I hated when somebody used to tell me that that's a defeatist mentality. I would say, well, no, that's reality mentality sometimes. But you can't just say that there's other people. Yeah, there's other blogs and there's other YouTube channels. If you have something to say and it's good, people will freaking follow it.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. Mm-hmm. Ralph. I don't know how you get Ralph out of RALPH. Ralph, I guess.
Steven.
Johnson. Yeah, I don't know.
Stefan.
When did you start seeing a real big uptick on YouTube videos? I've been doing this for a while, and at first, just once a month. But now for the past 7 months, I've been doing at least once a week. And just started doing 2 a week, and I have not seen really any difference and my subscriber going up. So I'm just asking because of that, and you said to keep on putting videos out there. First off, I've always said that if you start with one video a month, nobody's going to give a shit because it's not making people aware. I was doing 2 videos a day when I started, 1 to 2 videos a day. And it was like 7 or 8 a week. And I'm not saying that that's what everybody needs to do because that's what worked in 2010, and I'm not sure if it works today. It may still work. But again, maybe the videos you're putting out are not interesting for people, or maybe they're not keyword or tagged or come up searchable, because if people don't know about you and there's no way to, like, I had 0 subscribers. So me talking now with almost 400,000 subscribers, you got to remember I started with 0 subscribers, no following, 100 views a day on something, maybe, you know? So I speak from experience here. Once a week, I don't think is enough either. 2 a week, but what are the videos you're making?
Yeah.
You have to, if they're not videos that are interesting to people or are searchable and common topics that people may find you in, then that's where there's a lot of challenges because there's a lot of people doing something that's similar. I know we're really far in, but that's my answer. Heath Usage Farnden.
Heath F.
He says usage is pronounced like whiskey. UISGE.
Pronounced
Whiskey.
like whiskey?
Oh, okay. Heath Whiskey Friend. Hey, Jared, Steven, Special Agent Dale Cooper.
Woo! Yeah.
Who now has an Instagram. What is it, Sutter?
Cooper the Hedgehog at Cooper the Hedgehog
On Instagram.
On Instagram.
What are your thoughts on having 2 different business cards? One straight up professional
I was waiting for that.
corporate clients, and one a bit more funky, enticing for private clients. Well, what's the difference? I've thought of splitting the business in 2, but I don't think I have the time and resources at the moment. Thanks in advance and good day from down under. So I used to have multiple business cards to give people. I don't think having 2 businesses and 2 business cards is worth doing. I just think that becomes insane. Because you don't know what person is going to want what card. Now, if you're Rob Timko and you're going to get corporate work, you're not putting the foxtail picture on your business card to give to the business client.
It depends what type of thing you're doing.
If you are a sports photographer and you're at sporting events, you give out that thing. Or if you do, you got to. I just like one card gets the point across, gets people back to your website. If that's even the thing these days to give your card
it's not
out.
a bad idea to have 2.
No.
If you are that kind of photographer like Rob Timko where you have 2 different types
But what
of
are
things
you?
do.
But what are you? That's the question. Like more funky and enticing for private clients? But what's a private client?
See, that's
and
what I mean.
what's a professional or for corporate clients?
Yeah, define
Be you.
private client.
Be you. That's the thing. Be what you do.
Do you.
And just go for that. Don't try to conform to what other people think you should be because you're never going to be happy there. And you can't sing happy because you'll get sued by the gays. Marvin Gaye's family. Because they're suing.
They
suing,
already did sue and they won.
But they sued for blank spaces. For whatever that
what's it called?
annoying song was.
Yeah.
Blurred Lines.
Blurred Lines,
They
that's
sued
it.
for that, and now they're suing him for Happy, saying that that's similar to another
Oh my
Marvin
God.
Gaye song.
Wow.
Can they see it?
Ooh.
They can see it. This is the Kessler Crane. If you've been watching Instagram or something, you will see that we've been using this. We use it for the entire FroKnowsPhoto guide to video editing.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, Steven has it collapsed because we don't have the weights on the back of it to balance it, but it's a pocket chip, so it does get really small. Now, not really small, like it's hard to carry around or easy to carry around. These are their sticks, and we bought wheels for it. That monitor right there is from a company called Aputure. That is only $229.
Yeah.
And it's
Pretty
on
inexpensive.
And it's on a nasty clamp.
Yeah, we actually had a usage.
We had a usage. You mean whiskey?
Whiskey for the
A usage,
nasty
a
clamp.
whiskey. Yeah. So that is, look, if you're looking for a field monitor, that's like $219 for that, and we use it. It's like a 7-inch thing.
Great to pull focus. Yeah.
All right, so to lock that up. Reset the cameras, put the wheel out here. But look, we've been using this crane. The Kessler Crane is awesome. We put a Manfrotto head on top of it.
Very easy to set up too.
You guys set it up.
Yeah, I
we
set
got
it up, and it took me maybe like 10 minutes to set up. And
why don't you pull the wheel out
level
first
it
before
out.
you reset? Just might as well. I know I'm just going over time here.
You're okay.
But the crane has really come in handy, and we're going to start incorporating it into more and more things.
Oh, yeah.
And that is that. So here we have the Wheel of FRO, which has to be spun multiple times today. 3 times.
3 times.
3 times. Well, we missed 2 weeks. We did because it was too late that one night. I didn't want to upset my neighbor anymore.
Gotcha.
And then last week we didn't do it, and then we got to do one for this week.
Ah, gotcha.
Make sense?
Yep.
So here we have the Wheel of FRO, which we're spinning 3 times this week. We got Video Blocks. You can go to videoblocks.com/go/FRO to get your 7-day free trial. Squarespace, squarespace.com/FRO to get your 10% off. Black Rapid is on there. No website for them. Rode microphone. We use our Rodes each and every week. We even take them on the road. No pun intended, because they work really well. The grand prize, if it lands there, which we haven't even come close to it yet, I don't think we've hit a spin again or the other thing yet, but that's for an Atomos Ninja 2. That's a $700 thing. We are using the Shogun. That's what we're recording on 4K for the first time this week, and hopefully everything works out right. Adorama picks, they give you some free credit. Fro prize, that's for me to give. Think Tank photo, that's for something. A nice bag. They like to give actually nice bags. Audioblocks.com/go/FRO. Any of the audio that you've heard here other than the introduction has come from Audioblocks. And actually in the introduction, a lot of the background clips were from Video Blocks.
Well, and he used audio scratch. And,
that stuff. So that was that. More Squarespace, Lightroom, get a Creative Cloud Rode ? You can land on that. Borrow lenses is $250 in credit. Plastic printers is $250 free business cards from them. So the first person, why don't we spin it 3 times? And
we have to.
Well,
and then
say who wins what prize.
Okay. Well, I was one from Chicago.
Yeah, we have
actually
Chicago.
All 3 are from Chicago.
All 3.
Yeah.
Oh, what about the week? Oh, who you picked? Never mind. Yeah. That makes sense.
We've got 3 names. So I'm gonna. You're seeing that this person's number 1, that person's number 2, and this person's number 3.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
So that's the order. That's the prize they're gonna get.
Cool.
Well, I know you would have.
Yeah.
But that's what we did.
Nice.
So I'm not telling you who you are. Oh, I guess they already know it's not them at home because it's only people in Chicago.
That at the beginning.
It doesn't matter. Sutter.
Wheel of FRO.
Around and round it goes. Where it stops, nobody knows. The Wheel of FRO is going to stop for the first winner, who so happened to be from Chicago. It's going to be on. Well, that's going to be a question mark.
That's
all
a good
right.
prize.
First, that right there, question mark is going to this person. So they get a question mark,
to be
and
named
we'll
later.
tell their name later. All right, Sutter.
Wheel of FRO. Oh my God!
Whoa. Okay, Adorama picks going to this person. Ad picks. Now one more spin.
Wheel of FRO.
This is an Atomos. This is an Atomos. It's an Atomos. Oh, spin again.
So
I called it. I called that. It looked like it was going to be.
One day it's going to land on that.
That's going to be a spin again. So that's 4 spins because we got on spin again.
Your neighbor's loving you right now.
Yeah, my neighbor's hating me right now. Skipping the Atomos, and it's going to
Another?
another question mark.
That's a good spin.
All right.
Yeah.
So 2 question marks, and that means you can get anything from the wheel except for the grand prize. The winners, we have Jill Nielsen Velasquez. Jill helped us on RAWtalk
a lot.
She did the merch. She had a friend who helped her with merch, and she really, really helped. It was really good. She also walked around with the microphone. Second spin was for Alex, who played our Sutter in Chicago.
He did.
He didn't have a mustache like you,
Or
a beard, or a shaved head.
He was your age though.
He was 19.
Yeah.
Cool.
So Alex is getting an Adorama Picks credit.
Very cool.
And then the question mark, the third prize, Quentin got a question mark. So you guys, you got a question mark, Adorama Picks question mark, and done.
That's great.
That's it. Time for flying
Solid
solo.
prizes.
Just kidding.
Part 2.
All right, I'm getting hungry. I got to make lunch. I got to get ready to go to the airport.
You gotta leave.
At 3 o'clock. And that's
almost 1. So you gotta.
I know. I gotta pack nothing. All I'm taking is camera.
I
taking
shoot
a
raw shirt.
No, I'm wearing the I Shoot Raw shirt. It's only a day.
You're only gonna be there for a
that's
day.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to sleep after I do work when I get there, and then I'm gonna wake up, do my YouTube thing, and get on a plane at 10 o'clock at night and get here at 6 in the morning.
There you go.
Friday.
You can sleep on the plane?
We'll see. I have an exit row seat going, and I don't think I have an exit seat row coming back.
Gotcha.
Because the flights it was late booking.
Yeah.
I wanted us to film something Friday. Oh, the photo books will be here tomorrow.
Ooh.
For the D5500.
Very nice.
So Friday morning, or when Joe gets in, I think we should do a reveal of us going there and having him. I wanted to film him doing that.
Sounds good.
I know you want me to wrap it up.
I do.
So that is it, guys. That's RAWtalk episode 126. Less angry talk than before. I feel much better. maybe this is therapy for me. You can go to rawtalk.com/
Hyphen.
Sorry. FroKnowsPhoto.com/
RAWtalk.
FroKnowsPhoto.com/ RAWtalk-126.
Every week.
Jared Poland. FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya.